It's been 10 days since the Michigan basketball team last hit the hardwood following a COVID outbreak and a pair of postponed games. The Wolverines make their long-awaited return tonight, deep in hostile territory against 25th ranked Illinois. Hello and welcome to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan basketball. Alongside Zach Linfield, I'm Jared Greenspan. We are deep inside the State Farm Center here in Champaign, Illinois, ready for the Wolverines to battle the Illini.
Man, Jared, I'll tell you what, this is going to be a fun one. It's a sold-out State Farm Arena, and it's safe to say that they waited for this matchup between the Wolverines and the Illini because you know they wanted to claim the Big Ten championship last season, and Michigan's going to be without Hunter Dickinson tonight. So I'm sure you'll get to that. We'll talk more about the lineup, but it should be a fun one.
Shorthanded, indeed. Hunter Dickinson and Brandon Johns both out, still recovering from what we assume to be their bouts with COVID. Conditioning listed as the reason for their absences. Terrence Williams will start in Dickinson's place, meaning it's Devonte Jones, Eli Brooks, Caleb Houston, Williams, and Moussa Diabate. They have to contend with Kofi Coburn, the big man in the middle, the 7-foot, 285-pounder. He's out there alongside Trent Frazier, Jacob Grandison, Demante Williams, and Alfonso Plummer. Michigan wearing their new uniforms, their road dark blues. They look black, they're not. They're deep navy. Illinois, meanwhile, rocking the home whites. So it's Coburn and Diabate, the two men in the middle tonight, with Dickinson's absence looming large on the sideline. He's standing in sweatpants and a long-sleeve shirt. He will not play tonight.
So if you want to know something about the freshman for the Wolverines wearing number 14, this is his biggest test of his young career. He's going to have to play really big against Kofi Coburn tonight.
And he wins the jump ball. It's taken by Eli Brooks, gives way for Devonte Jones. Jones left to right down the near side, loops up top, caught by Diabate. Pressured by Coburn, drives left, beats him inside. Up with the left, the runner won't go off glass, and Williams clears for the Illini. Frazier right to left, comes quickly down the near side. He's played by Brooks. Here's Coburn. Doubled by Houston, lowers the shoulder, jump feed right side Grandison into the corner. Plummer works the baseline, pulls up. He's fouled from behind. I think Jones flipped him on the elbow, and Alfonso Plummer will head to the line for a pair.
I'll tell you what, though, Jared, if you want to foul a guy, it's probably not Alfonso Plummer. He shoots just less than 98% from the charity stripe on the season.
So Zach putting the announcer's jinx to the test early, and Plummer dispels it, nailing the first. So Illinois up 1-0, just getting going in this one, 25 seconds in from the State Farm Center. Michigan and Illinois, the Wolverines last played on Tuesday. That's not this past Tuesday, but 2 Tuesdays ago against Rutgers. Since had 2 games postponed. Plummer gets the second to go. Illinois up 2-0. Jones quickly the other way down the left side, working with Brooks. Brooks probes, fends off Frazier, wraps around the baseline, back into the lane, flips up the right-handed runner, and it drops off the rim. Diabate with the board. He works the baseline, loops it out in the near side corner. Jones. Michigan resets at the top of the key with Houston. Houston back to Jones on the near side wing with 11 on the shot clock. Drops it inside Diabate, facing Coburn. Moussa jab steps, works the baseline, layup. It's good. Moussa Diabate with the tough take. He gets Michigan on the board, 2-2.
Yeah, Jared, we're not even 1 minute in, and so far Moose is playing as well as he possibly could against the big center from Kingston, Jamaica.
Looking confident as well. Williams give up top Frazier, swing right side for Plummer. Michigan in his zone, Plummer back to Frazier. Entry feed Coburn, lowers the shoulder, gets to the right block, layup is good. That's just way too easy, 1-on-1 for Kofi Coburn. 4-2 Illinois, Devonte Jones down the near side. He turns the corner, weaves around into the lane and back to the foul line. Now peels out on the left wing. Plummer shadowing him every step of the way, giving the left side for Brooks. Brooks around the screen to the foul line, weaves right, arcs it inside for Diabate. He rocks the rim with 2 hands, and we're tied at 4.
How about that? Nice lane presence by Eli Brooks and of Moussa Diabate to make sure he lurked behind Kofi Coburn to put that through.
Entry feed to Coburn, 18-10 to play, lowers the shoulder, gets to the left block, layup, sputters out, but he's fouled by Diabate.
Look at Juwan Howard on the near sideline. He really wanted a foot shuffle on Coburn. He's looking right at the officials saying, hey, sir, you got a little too foot happy there.
Coburn missed a gimme from point-blank range, should be at the line for a chance for 3, and instead he'll have to settle for 2 individual free throws. 18-10 to play here in the first half. Michigan and Illinois knotted up at 4. Kofi Coburn, a 66% free throw shooter, at the stripe for 2. Off front iron on the first, it clanks away. Coburn is the matchup to watch tonight. With whom Michigan will contest Coburn with, we don't know. So far, it's Moussa Diabate. Of course, the Wolverines without Hunter Dickinson and Brandon Johns, 2 COVID-related absences. As Coburn, short on the second, Williams clears, which leaves the Wolverines front court stretched thin. Eli Brooks up the right side. He's warded off by Frazier. Drops it for Diabate at the high post. Pivots to face Coburn. Moussa jab steps, fakes. Jab steps again. Gives out left wing for Houston. Houston with Williams around the Moussa screen. Pocket feed Moussa at the foul line. Moussa pops, left it short. Houston the right block, rebound, and Michigan will reset.
Michigan's playing really aggressive so far. They're moving in transition, and that's really nice to see for a team that's been pretty slow moving the ball up the floor so far this season.
Brooks directing traffic on the right wing, 8 to shoot. Gives left side for Diabate at the left elbow. Shot clock down to 5. Moussa left wing for Houston.
He's got to look at the shot clock.
To shoot. He's got to heave. Houston heaves. Bank shot nearly went in. Jones with the rebound. Tried to throw it off Plummer. He does.
Beautiful play by Devonte Jones and the awareness to throw it off Plummer, who had his right heel out of bounds, and a sharp eye by the official on the baseline.
We are 2.5 minutes into this one. Michigan already with 3 offensive rebounds, and that's going up against Coburn without Dickinson. 4-4 the score. The inbound comes into Terrence Williams, making his first career start. Has it up top, given the left wing for Brooks. Great by Frazier. Brooks for Jones. He's working with Plummer. Drives right, tries to turn the corner, gets inside, arcs up the runner, off glass, wild shot, doesn't go. Coburn clears. Frazier down the far side. He's tracked by Brooks. Give up top, Coburn pitches back to Frazier. Brooks doing a nice job on him, giving the far right wing for Grandison around the screen. Grandison kicks back for Frazier. Frazier lets the 3 fly, way off the mark, too strong. Williams the rebound. Tight ropes the end line, tosses back out for Frazier. Thought about another 3 from the wing, but thought better of it. Drops inside to Coburn, lowers his shoulder. Right-handed hook is good. Right over the top of Diabate. Illinois up 6-4. Michigan quickly the other way. Houston darts baseline, stripped on the way up, and a blocking foul is called underneath on Frazier. And as you can hear, the Illini faithful disgraced by that call there.
And the question becomes, was he just too close to the restricted area beneath the basket? It looked like his heels were sort of splitting the half circle underneath the Michigan rim.
16:44 to play here in the first half. The Illini with the early 6-4 lead, 4 points apiece for Coburn and Diabate. The inbound comes in near side corner for Brooks, hands off to Jones, works his way to the wing, now to the point. Kicks back right side, Houston off the curl. Drops it inside, Diabate in the short corner, works the baseline, a whistle and a foul. So Moussa Diabate early, very aggressive, and I'm sure this was in Michigan's game plan to go right at Kofi Coburn on the defensive end.
And one thing that I've really seen so far from Moussa, Jared, is that he isn't trying to back into Kofi Coburn. You're not going to be able to do that. He's facing him straight up, pivoting and looking Kofi right in the eyes, and then he's able to make his move right or left. That's why he's had success early in this ballgame.
And now Coburn is out of the game. Omar Payne in for the Illini. The inbound comes into Brooks, gets it away up top for Jones. Jones working with Plummer, holds the orange on his right hip, kicks right side for Houston.
Got to get it to Diabate, go to work.
Houston lumbers across the lane, the jump stop, flips it up with the right hand, left it short, and a whistle and another foul underneath. That's going to go on Jacob Grandison. Terrence Williams came in to crash the offensive glass. And the Wolverines are very active early on that offensive glass, and the Illini are all out of sorts in terms of defensive rebounding.
It's really getting to the Illini faithful, and it looks like their team's kind of got the heads down for the moment being. However, Michigan, by attacking the offensive glass, is really forcing the Illini to go up with them. And by putting themselves in good position, they're getting the fouls called for them.
6'10 Coleman Hawkins into the game, joining the 6'10 Payne, so a bigger front court for Illinois. Moussa kicks right side for Houston. 17 on the shot clock, hands it off for Williams. Around the Moussa screen, moving left, lumbers down the left alley, gets to the block, layup, rolls in. Tough, strong take by Terrence Williams. We're tied at 6, approaching 4 minutes gone by.
We've seen that a couple times from T-Will so far this season. If he can go strong, he becomes that much more versatile a player.
Williams drives left, shook Houston, the jump stop, pivot, right-handed hook, left it short, strong rebound underneath for Williams. He'll play point forward, rumbles the other way, left to right down the middle. Angles toward the right wing, he gives way for Houston, draped by Williams. Drops it off back of the logo for Brooks, he'll reset for the Wolverines. Brooks working with Plummer, drops it off on a hop left wing for Williams, gives for Diabate up top, he's guarded by Payne now. Musa dribble handoff with Brooks, curls right, separation, 16-footer, pull up too strong. Musa went for the back tap. Illinois nearly lost it, but Williams corrals it. Trent Frazier orchestrating down the far side for Illinois. We're tied at 6. Frazier blitzed on the wing, scooched by Jones. Now picks up his dribble, kicks Hawkins, swing at Williams into the corner. Plummer. He's bumped by Brooks, pulls up off the bounce for 3. It's an air ball. Flagged down by Jones in the far side corner. Quickly the other way, right wing Brooks into the corner. Houston catch and shoot for 3. Rattles in and out. Diabate almost had the rebound, but he's a little overzealous. And to the enjoyment of this Illini crowd, Musa called for a foul as well. 6-6 the score. 4 minutes, 57 seconds gone by from Champaign. Michigan and Illinois all knotted up at 6 apiece.
It's been a very inspiring start, to say the least, for Michigan, who's playing a ranked team on the road in a hostile environment. You know the Illini faithful have waited for this one since Michigan put the rings on their what do you call it?
Index finger.
In the
Middle, no.
Ring finger.
Ring finger. Apropos named.
You know the Illini faithful have been waiting for this one. They showed out well tonight, and it's a loud environment. We kind of figured it's a bit of a smaller arena, and the acoustics are a lot like Mackey Arena. We talked about it on the way here, but strategically so far in this game for the Wolverines, we also chatted about the Wolverines' congestion on the offensive side of the ball. It doesn't seem like that so far today. There's a lot of movement. There's some pick and rolls, but they're not getting caught in the same area. That's been so important so far for the Wolverines today.
In terms of the hype, as you mentioned, there's a little extra juice, a little extra animosity in this crowd today. Advertised as a sold-out crowd. Looks about 90% the part. It's really filled in the last 10 minutes or so. There was an especially curated highlight video before the game. The first 30 seconds or so were all highlights from Illinois' beatdown of Michigan last season inside Chrysler Center. And then they cut to a video, quick little clip of the champ is here before showing more highlights of the Illini. That riled the crowd up. The performance so far not as inspiring.
And it's worth noting right now, we can peer into the Michigan huddle from our stance here in the upper course. Jaron Falls has his shooter shirt off, and his uniform is all ready to go. We saw Hunter Dickinson in sweatpants and sweatshirt. Musa Diabate has played 4 minutes and 57 seconds, angling against Kofi Coburn so far. But Jaron Falls, the transfer, he's from Holt, Michigan. This is his big chance to step up if he's ever going to get it.
And I think that's the unknown with all the circumstances swirling around COVID. We know Johns and Dickinson are out. What we don't know is the conditioning status of everyone else. They haven't been able to have a full practice all week or the week before that when after the Rutgers game. They haven't been able to play 5-on-5. What is the conditioning level of every individual player? It's different. We don't know how long these players can go, especially contending against a good Illinois team, and in Musa Diabate's case, Kofi Coburn. So I think that's why we see Falls getting set to check in. These players are not up to normal playing shape, so they're going to have to spread the wealth in terms of minutes, and lo and behold, here comes Jaron Falls, 15:03 left in the first.
And politics aside, politics unknown, you look into the Illinois huddle, there's no one wearing a mask. And on the Michigan side, almost everybody that's not in the game, including Coach Juwan Howard, who I don't typically think would wear one in the middle of a game, they all have them on, or at least the majority of them do. So you have to think, which of these coaches had COVID at one point? Because we know at least one of them did, and we know multiple players were out. The Wolverines would have only had 7 active guys against Michigan State last Saturday, so it's a bit unknown who did and didn't have COVID, but we're here, and the Wolverines are down 2 significant members of their team.
And it's also 2 fouls for Diabate with 15 minutes left in the first half, which is significant to say the least. Trent Frazier right to left, angles left, hands off for Williams, give on up top for Coleman Hawkins, swings up top for Frazier, Frazier with Jones, and a whistle away from the ball, and a foul is going to go on Michigan. I think it's going to go on Caleb Houston. That's Houston's first, and again, with a limited roster, a strapped roster, foul trouble, another thing to keep an eye on, especially in that front court. Musa already saddled with 2. Frazier puts things into motion underneath the basket, loops for Plummer high up top, give left wing for Hawkins with Williams, pushes left side for Frazier, Jones all over him. Frazier around a screen to the pocket, shut off nicely by Falls on the help. Kicks it right wing. Williams wide open. Catch and fire. No good on a 3. And nice rebound snagged by Jones. 4-on-3. Leads it down the middle. Pitches left wing. Houston. Extra feet in the corner. Williams 4-3. Off the mark. Long rebound taken by Plummer. The Illini the other way. Frazier up ahead for Williams. Goes at Brooks. Layup is good. Well executed fast break. Illinois on top 8-6.
Jaron Falls on the prior defensive possession. He had a really good possession, boxing out Omar Payne the best he could as Coburn goes back to the check-in table.
Falls up top, hands off for Houston. Thought about a 3, curls right, works his way down the alley, hangs on Payne, stripped by Williams. Last touch by Williams, out of bounds. It'll stay this way. And as Zach alluded to, here comes Kofi Coburn. He checks in for Omar Payne. Jacob Grandison back into the game as well, giving Williams a breather. And so now here's the question. You have Jaron Falls, a 6'10" walk-on transfer from Columbia, who has played a grand total of 53 minutes in his Michigan career guarding Kofi Coburn. Jones curls to the foul line, pivots, gives right wing Houston wide open, catch and shoot for 3, way off the mark. Falls chases down the rebound, saves it with a jump save to Williams on the left wing. 2 to shoot. Brooks has to go. Brooks heaves, short on the 3. Rebound.
Look at Jaron Falls.
Jaron Falls, active presence on the glass. Devonte Jones resets up top. Michigan trails by 2. 13:40 left to play in the first half. Jones to the foul line, gives out left side Houston. Houston up fake, gives for Jones. Jones turns left, turns the corner, scoops out.
Oh, man.
Back by Coburn. Snared by Frazier. Illinois the other way. Frazier rifles left wing. Swing it. Grandison to the foul line. Kicks it back out on the right side for Frazier. Frazier with Jones. Dribble handoff for Plummer. Plummer has a switch onto Jones, moves right, kicks it back for Coburn at the elbow, facing Falls, lowers the shoulder, here he comes. Coburn contested, throws it up off glass, won't go, but a foul on Falls. I think if you're Michigan, you're going to have to live with that in this game tonight.
Jaron Falls, on that offensive possession, he just grabbed rebounds 5th and 6th of this season.
And 17th and 18th of his Michigan career. So Coburn back to the stripe. Missed a pair earlier. And makes good on the first there. The 66% free throw shooter on the season. 9-6 Illinois, the score. Substitutions here. Jace Howard comes into the game for Terrence Williams. Frankie Collins into the ballgame for Devonte Jones. Collins has not played since the December 30th game against UCF. He missed Michigan's game on January 4th against Rutgers. One more coming up on the line for Coburn. That one's true. He knocks down a pair. 10-6. The Illini lead. 13-14 left to play in the first half. Michigan shooting just 3 of 15 from the field. Collins curls left, draped by Plummer. Working high on that wing. Gives up top for Brooks. He's pestered by Frazier. Brooks drives, turns the corner, arcs up a runner. It's good. Over the top of the hostile fingers of Coburn. And it's 10-8. The Illini lead trimmed to 2. Frazier gives for Grandison, rifles left wing for Coleman Hawkins. Back on the right side, Frazier giving them a corner for Plummer. Gets a Coburn screen, pressed by Falls. Defers for Grandison with Houston. High-low, Coburn couldn't come down with it. Ricochets off the back
for Grandison.
Collins the other way down the left side challenges Plummer. The crossover, left-handed scoop shot. Off the window, won't go. It rolls off, and Coburn clears. Rebound number 2 for him. And then a whistle in the backcourt and a foul on Frankie Collins. There's just no need for that.
And here I'll pose you a question, Jared. If Jaron Falls picks up another foul, Musa Diabate is about to go back in. You said with 2.
Yeah.
Now, Brandon Johns was technically called as inactive today by a team spokesman. However, he went through an extensive pregame warm-up. Do you think if it comes down to it that Brandon Johns potentially enters the game?
I would say 0% Johns plays. They're going to have to ride this out. It was Williams who came in instead of Diabate. Musa jumped off the bench, but that was not correct. So it's Williams instead. A lot of substitutions here. We're all a bit confused, as is the PA announcer who announced Musa was coming in. For Michigan, it's Collins, Bufkin, Howard, Brooks, and Williams. A very small lineup. Kofi Coburn, of note, is still out there. Pushes left side for Jacob Good, the freshman who's into the ballgame with Williams. Giving the corner for Frazier. Works the baseline on Collins. Arcs it underneath for Coburn. In the crowd. Blocked by Howard.
Man.
Good gets the rebound. Up top, Grandison. Swings right side, Frazier. Dribble handoff with Williams. Working with Bufkin, and Bufkin pokes it loose out of bounds. Illinois retains with 8 to shoot.
If you could take your pick of the crop of the guys to get the first block of Kofi Coburn tonight.
It would not be Jace Howard, but the masked man gets it done. Still dealing with the after effects of what was a broken nose. Williams puts things into motion along the right side, gives up top for Frazier with Collins. Shot clock down to 5. Frazier cuts right, pulls up off the bounce for 3. Off the heel, no good. Williams rips down a one-handed rebound, and Brooks comes in to secure it. Eli Brooks takes it left to right, moving down the middle, gets a screen from Howard, curls right to the elbow, pulls up off the bounce. It's good. Brooks buries the jumper. We're tied at 10. 11:50 to play in the first half.
This has been a great fight so far by the Wolverines. It's 10-10 against a ranked team, and you're playing with guys that you didn't necessarily think would be in there at this point in the game.
And Jace Howard is guarding Coburn. He's doing a great job. Grandison up top, 12 to shoot. Left wing good into the corner. Frazier works his way to the wing. Now up top. Kicks right side Williams. Williams fakes, working with Brooks. Entry feed Howard, and he's fouled on the reach by Jace Howard, looking for Coburn. 10-10 the score, 11:26 left in the first half. That's going to bring us to the under 12 timeout. Michigan's without Hunter Dickinson. They're shooting just 28% from the field. Yet here they are, tied at 10, with this game nearly a quarter of the way through. An admirable effort so far for Juwan Howard's undermanned, under-practice squad.
And if you're Jace Howard and you have this opportunity, and you're Juwan Howard, you're like, this is where I'm really going to see, not only for the present, but the future of the program, who is going to get more minutes. Jaron Faulds, he played 2.5, 3 minutes here in this first half, and he fronted Kofi Coburn. He grabbed 2 rebounds. He put up a shot. Jace Howard is in there currently playing against Kofi Coburn. We're talking about not just a usual Big Ten center. We know Big Ten centers are talented. This is a National Player of the Year candidate. And they're playing very well against him. Now, nonetheless, they're going to get in foul trouble because Colburn's just too big. Hunter Dickinson's the only one on this Michigan team that has a chance to match up with him physically compared to size. So Michigan right now, like you said, an admirable effort defending at least in the paint.
Coburn, a mammoth of a man, 7 foot, 285 pounds. He's got 6 points and 2 rebounds so far. Turned down the NBA draft over the offseason and a brief flirtation in the transfer portal to return to Champaign for his junior year. You look up any preseason award watch list, Coburn's name is bound to be on there somewhere. I mean, the accolades for him, a second-team All-American. My favorite statistic, he led the nation last year with 78 dunks. Yet to see one so far tonight. Michigan doing a nice job of swarming him deep in the paint, bringing a double team from the weak side and preventing him from getting too good of positioning down low.
Well, he does it all, though. Scoring, rebounding, blocks. The only thing he really lacks in is assists, and he still averages at least 1 a game. So Coburn, number 4 in the NCAA in scoring, number 3 in the Big Ten, and he's number 3 in the NCAA in grabbing rebounds. So no wonder why he's up for the National Player of the Year candidacy, along with another Big Ten player out of Madison, Wisconsin, Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
So competing against each other, I'm pretty sure they'll meet one more time down the line. But Coburn, he's done this for 2 years now. And we know he's a fantastic athlete, very well could have gone to the NBA. And he decided to come back, and he's proving why he should be a high first-round draft pick next season.
10-10 the score if you're just joining us here at the under 12 timeout from Champaign. Michigan, in spite of its languishing offense, in spite of its undermanned roster, tied with the 25th ranked Illini. The Wolverines just 5 of 18 from the field. They've yet to connect from deep, but they are holding their own. An inspired defensive effort in particular that has really flummoxed the Illini. 10-10 the score. For Michigan, Eli Brooks has 4 points on the night. So does Musa Diabate. They're tied for the team lead. Terrence Williams, the only one with another bucket. Illinois, it's Kofi Coburn. He's got 6, leading the way for both the Illini and in the game. The buzzer sounds. We're about ready as the teams break their huddles from the U12 timeout. 10-10, Michigan. A spirited effort so far. The question is, can they keep this up against a very good Illini team that has been on a roll? The Illini have won their last 5 contests. They're 3-0 so far in Big Ten play. They're really surging, sitting atop the Big Ten tied with Michigan State. And their average margin of victory in conference play, just 18 points. So these games haven't exactly been close either. Michigan so far proving otherwise. Kofi Coburn at the line for a 1-and-1. Michigan with 7 fouls. puts Illinois in the bonus for the rest of this half, which is not even halfway through. Coburn 2 of 4 from the stripe tonight. Make that 3 of 5. Cans the first effortlessly to vault Illinois back in front 11-10.
Michigan has no Devonte Jones on the floor right now. It's Frankie Collins and Kobe Buffkin, so might be a little more of a three-point oriented lineup for the Wolverines on the offensive end.
We'll see if that can be used as a remedy to their three-point shooting. They're 0 of 5 from deep so far. Collins bounces left to right, his hair waving in the process. Gives for Williams on the right wing. Dribble handoff with Buffkin. Curls to the point, moving left. Shadowed by Plummer, gives way for Brooks. He curls, moves right. Brooks falls down, keeps the dribble alive, though. Pitches right wing Howard. Jace Howard lines up a 3. In and out. And the rebound knocked out of bounds. Grandison able to save it, though. So not quite out of bounds. Nearly. The Illini flirting with danger a little bit on that possession. Frazier the other way, hands off on the wing for Granderson, curls toward the left side, gives for Plummer. Plummer moving right, picks up his dribble, tosses back for Grandison. Williams in his grill, give left wing Williams. Back to Grandison, lets the 3 fly, catch and fire off the heel, no good. Long rebound taken on the right side, Frazier. Swings for Plummer. Plummer lets it fly. Too strong on a 3. Rebound tipped underneath. Loose ball. Scrummer-ups. Illinois has it, and then throwing it away is Frazier into the arms of Collins. Down the middle, right side, Buffkin. Buffkin glides to the rack, layup. Good, but it's not going to count. Michigan had a 2-on-1. Kobe Buffkin right into the defender. That's a charging foul. Trent Frazier, the fifth-year senior, drawing the charge.
And Illinois is now taking an attempted 2 charges in the same exact spot. And this one might have been a little bit further outside that restricted zone to get them the call. And I'll tell you what, if that was a block, we might be hearing it right now still from the faithful here in State Farm Center.
A very spirited, pent-up, packed house here in the State Farm Center. 12-10, Illinois on top. 10.5 and rolling to play in the first half. Frazier angles right, shadowed by Collins, kicks it back up top for Grandison. Terrence Williams on him, flips left for Williams. Williams to the foul line, give right side for Frazier. Gets a high screen from Coburn, moves right, has Collins on his back as he weaves to the foul line down the left alley. Left-handed runner is good. A kiss and a wink off the window for Trent Frazier. Illinois up 14-10.
This is the largest margin so far for Illinois. They had 4 one time, and they're back to 4 now.
Collins moving left, give on the left side. Buffkin carves his way through traffic, passes out for Howard, dropped it, gets it back, challenges Coburn. Jace Howard lowers the shoulder, goes up strong. That was ill-advised. It's knocked out of bounds, last touch by Devonte Jones. If you're Jace Howard, you cannot be going at Kofi Coburn like that. You're 6'7", Kofi Coburn's 7 foot, and 60 pounds your senior.
Valiant effort, that's for sure.
14-10 Illinois. Halfway through the first half. Trent Frazier on the right side working with Collins. Has it high on that wing. Backpedals toward the timeline. It'll reset. Collins still on him. 10 to shoot as Frazier moves toward the point. Goes in between his legs with a crossover. 8 to shoot. He's got to go. Frazier on the crossover. Drives left. Sloppy with the dribble. On the wing. Falls down. That's a travel. What an abominable possession for Trent Frazier. I don't know what he was doing.
You got to wonder if Brad Underwood, he's not the most even-keel coach in the world, but maybe he was trying to give Frazier a little bit more time to develop that possession. He had 29 points against Nebraska on Tuesday. So.
He's about to give Frazier a seat. Coleman Hawkins re-enters. Michigan's defense holds serve. Where will it find an offensive spark, if at all? Devonte Jones up top, a double screen moves right. That was an illegal screen. Jace Howard came on one side. Terrence Williams came on the other. They converged, and I don't know if either was set. They were both leaning as I watched the replay up here. Terrence still pleading his case. Jace had already pled his. Nonetheless, Illinois basketball, 9:14 to play in the first half. Michigan trails by 4 in this offensive slot.
Give that to Howard.
Okay. Could have been charged either way.
And that's fairly large, too. With
it's his second.
Terrence, they still need him in this game.
Even though Jace is the one guarding Coburn. There's Coburn's at 7 foot and Coleman Hawkins at 6'10". Demante Williams up the left side. He's pestered by Collins. Looks to back him down. Picks up his dribble. Pass up top. Stolen by Jones. Jones down the near side is 1 man to beat. Goes at Plummer with the sidestep. Layup in a crowd is good. Devonte Jones. Defense into offense. Michigan within 2, 14-12.
It's exactly what we thought that we would see from Devonte Jones coming into the season. You and I both saw it at Wayne State, too.
Williams, sloppy with the dribble, picks it up, gives high on the right wing for Plummer. Jones on him. Pushes left side, Grandison, swings on the left wing for Hawkins. Hawkins up top, Plummer. Plummer moves left, arcs back for Hawkins at the point, fakes a three, drives left on Jones, lumbers inside. Wild, runner off glass, won't go. Late whistle and a foul, and Michigan's bench is disgusted.
Hawkins completely torqued his body once he got inside the paint and kind of just flew up a Hail Mary type shot, and he got the board himself. Nonetheless, a late whistle came from the far sideline.
66% free throw shooter, Coleman Hawkins. 8.5 to play in the first half as Hawkins too strong on the line drive free throw attempt. Illinois clenching a 14-12 lead. Substitutions for the Illini. Omar Payne re-enters, spelling Kofi Coburn. Trent Frazier also back into the game. Demante Williams will take a seat. Coleman Hawkins has one more upcoming at the line. 8.5 minutes to play in the first half. Michigan standing its own despite being down Hunter Dickinson and Brandon Johns. Wolverines now down 3 as Hawkins gets the second to go. 15-12 to score. Frankie Collins bouncing left to right. He's working with Frazier on the right wing. Now spins to the left side. Awaits the screen from Howard. Slips it. Moving left. Gets to the elbow. Up top, Jace. Jace drives right. Gets inside. Runner off glass. Wild shot won't go. Jones soars in for the rebound and is fouled. That is Devonte Jones. Just coming in out of nowhere to grab an offensive rebound. Offensive rebound number 6 on the night for Michigan.
And that's one thing that we knew Devonte Jones would bring to this team that Mike Smith maybe didn't. The aggressiveness on the offensive board. Mike Smith was very good at getting back on defensive transition. But Devonte Jones, that's a whole different animal when your key point guard is going in to grab boards.
And the king of offensive rebounds re-enters. It's Jaron Falls. He has 2 already tonight. Buffkin loops it high in the right wing for Collins, leaps to grab it, slips the fault screen, works his way to the elbow, turns the corner, lefty layup, wild shot won't go, but Omar Payne whistled for the foul. And so Frankie Collins rewarded for his penetration. He'll go to the line for 2.
We've seen a lot of this so far today. Both teams, some of their guys going palms to the air to the referees. That one may have been one of the more obvious calls of the night.
And so it's Frankie Collins, the freshman. Just a 37% free throw shooter on this season. His jump shot remained very much a work in progress, but it looks smooth as ice on that one as he cans the first.
Of course, he's at the charity stripe now, but if any of you are watching and syncing up our broadcast to this game, you're watching Frankie Collins. Pestering is an understatement on the defensive end.
For sure. In and out there. Jaron Falls. Oh, but he stepped out of bounds. Jaron Falls, the acquainted offensive rebound king, came in for another, but stepped out of bounds. Next time, Jaron. 15-13 to score. Trent Frazier right to left. Collins went 1 of 2 from the stripe. Now playing defense. Frazier curls left. He draws a switch with Buffkin. Gets a high screen from Payne, pressed by Falls. Frazier whistles left side Hawkins and a whistle underneath and a foul. I think it's going to go on Collins, who was switched on to Omar Payne deep in the lane. So that'll bring us to the under 8 timeout. 7:51 left in the first half. Illinois maintaining a 2-point lead, 15-13. And again, here we are. Michigan shooting 27% from the field. The numbers aren't pretty. Just 6 of 22, but the effort is there, and they're hanging around.
And if I'm still looking into the Michigan huddle, and we're talking about the players who are active, we're almost down to it. Because if sweatpants means inactive, and there's no one else that are just sitting wearing in shorts right now, because 6'7" Isaiah Barnes is in sweatpants. 6'8" Will Cheddar is in sweatpants. Of course, we know Dickinson is inactive, and Brandon Johns Jr. is also in a pair of sweatpants. So Michigan, this may be all the guys they have. Adrian Nunez is the final name, but he's a guard. I don't think he's going to be covering Coburn. So 15-13, this is exactly where you want to be if you're Michigan, because at some point, shots are going to start falling if you're able to take them. And going into the paint, looking for the aggressiveness, it's a great job by the Wolverines so far.
Michigan as a team has 11 fouls. Every player but Eli Brooks has racked up a personal so far tonight. 3 players have 2. Moussa Diabate, Terrence Williams, and Jace Howard. Perhaps not a coincidence that all 3 have spent time guarding Kofi Coburn on the evening. But credit to the Wolverines. They haven't led, but they haven't let this game get away. The Illini twice have led by 4-point margins, but nothing more than that. Michigan's defense very strong, sturdy, even underneath, despite being undersized. And I think the best way to describe this so far is a gutsy, spirited effort. It's not pretty, but it's working so far. They're just down 12 minutes into this game.
And Michigan just has to try and remain as clean as they can while Coburn isn't in the ballgame, because he doesn't play 30 minutes. He's just shy of that. I'm sure his stamina is up there, and he's still a very good athlete nonetheless. But the Wolverines, when he isn't on the floor, and Coleman Hawkins or Omar Payne are playing at the center forward position, they have to be clean and not pick up the extra fouls, because they need to allocate those to Coburn. They need to be ready to keep those with Kofi. Well, he's on the bench. You can't foul.
Michigan shooting 27% from the field. Illinois 33%. The big disparity, though, Michigan's gotten 22 shots compared to just 12 for Illinois. That's in large part due to offensive rebounds. The Wolverines have 7. They've kept possessions alive. They've crashed the glass with animosity. Despite Coburn lurking inside, they really seem undaunted. Sometimes that's ill-advised. We saw Jace Howard try to attack Coburn off the bounce and go right at him. That's not going to work. But crashing the glass has been working, and Michigan is going to keep doing it. And that is a way, when you're not shooting the ball well, when maybe you have tired legs, to get more shots via offensive rebounds. That's a way to mitigate the impact of those tired legs, of that shorthanded roster.
And you know, as much as we hate the media timeouts, and hate's a strong word, but the media timeouts are never friendly to the actual media who are sitting here talking through commercials.
Right.
It's a good thing right now for the Wolverines.
It's great,
because
their
they
best
need
friend at this point.
Right.
So Omar Payne at the stripe. He'll shoot to the 56% free throw shooter, a transfer from Florida. Payne bends his knees, lets it go, and nails it. So the Illini cushion up to 3, 16-13, 7:51 left here in the first half. The 5 out there for Michigan: Frankie Collins, Devonte Jones, Kobe Buffkin. That's 3 guards alongside Caleb Houston and Jaron Falls as Payne knocks home the second. So a very small lineup, with the only big being the walk-on transfer in Falls. Jones left to right. Let's see where the offense is going to come from. Has it high on the left wing, working with Frazier. Jones dribbling with the right hand, pushes for Buffkin, curls to the foul line down the left alley, gets his way inside, layup rolls off the rim, but he's fouled. So Michigan continues to attack the teeth of the defense and continues to draw fouls. That's 6 fouls now on Illinois, and Kobe Buffkin, the freshman guard and a 79% free throw shooter, is at the stripe for a pair.
It's a real quick break for Eli Brooks, who comes back to the scorers table.
Buffkin too strong on the first off back iron. Eli Brooks, the aforementioned Eli Brooks, re-enters this one for Frankie Collins, who had a nice spurt out there for Michigan. 7:38 to play in the first half. One more coming for Buffkin, but first a sub. Luke Goody enters the game. Grandison takes a seat. Buffkin locks eyes with the rim, in and out. Falls nearly at another rebound, but Goody there to secure it. Jaron Falls crashing the glass with vengeance. Not to be had on that one, though. Frazier weaves into the forecourt, right to left, hands off for Hawkins. Hawkins curling right. Now back to the left. Houston shadows him, picks up his dribble, looking for Plummer, gets it to him on the handoff. Plummer lost the handle. Houston the steal. Houston into the forecourt down the near side. Illinois gets back, and they'll reset up top with Brooks.
I would like to see more from Houston on the offensive end. A little bit too much standing around for one of the best shooters in the Big Ten.
0 of 3 from deep so far for 0 points. Jaron Falls has it up top. Payne gives him a bit of room. Falls moves left, dribble handoff with Jones. Jones curls right, gets inside, throws up a wild shot, tried to draw contact. That won't go. Rebound knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Falls. So Jones tried to force it there. Michigan now shooting a grisly 6 of 23 from the field. Here comes Kofi Coburn back into this one. Jaron Falls has his hands on his hips, takes a deep breath. Here he goes.
What a moment, though, for Jaron Falls. You get this kind of moment, you make the most of it as he smiles with the referee on the baseline.
17-13, Illinois on top. Frazier on the left side with Buffkin. Gets a Coburn screen, curls right. Buffkin sticks with him, giving the left wing for Hawkins. Hawkins up fake, shut off, drops it underneath for Coburn. No, he doesn't.
Look
off
at Jaron
fingertips
Falls.
And out of bounds. And Falls was there pressuring Coburn as far as he could away from the basket. And then the errant entry pass turns the ball over back to Michigan. 6 turnovers now for Illinois. Jones working up top. He angles right, ball in his right hand. Gives for Falls at the high post. Falls pivots, dribble handoff with Brooks. Brooks curls right in traffic, gets to the block, doubled by Coburn. Drops it off for Falls. Falls at the block working with Coburn. Falls leads in, goes for the right. The hook shot. It's an air ball too strong. Hawkins the board.
Coach Howard fiending for a call on the sideline.
Frazier, the crossover, breaks down the defense, kicks it out on the right side corner. Plummer for three. It's good. Alfonso Plummer ring it up. Illinois up 7. That's the largest lead of the game. Juwan Howard senses momentum shifting. He wants a timeout, and he's right out there to contend with the referee. Lamenting, I think, a few missed calls in his eyes down on Michigan's end. 20-13 the score now. 6:06 to play in the first half. And this is where it gets into the danger zone for Michigan. Their offense is sputtering. No one is stepping up. How do they not let this get out of hand?
You got to continue to play slow and play through your guards. Michigan, they've been really trying to attack the paint. Like you said, the teeth of the defense. However, I would really like to start to see, and I'm sure Juwan Howard may think the same, start to get some guys open for some pick and pop shots around the corner, like Caleb Houston, like Eli Brooks. We know they can shoot it, and at some point, if those shots start to fall, it could become contagious. And then you get back, play defense, and hope for the same thing on the next drive.
And the outside shooting game in this game has virtually been non-existent. It's as if there's a blanket on the perimeter. 0 of 6 from 3, not many mid-range J's as well. Brooks had one, that's about it. Jones left to right. Michigan looking to end this drought. 2:53 minutes without a field goal. Jones curls, arcs it over shoulder, falls, challenges Coburn, left-handed hook, rolls off the rim. Plummer snares the board. Right back to Illinois we go. 5:50 to play in the first half. Trent Frazier bounces right to left, a high dribble with the left hand. Frazier working up top. He's tracked by Jones on the left wing. Gets a screen from Plummer, moves right, Falls presses out. Now Brooks switches, swing left side for Plummer, drives on Jones, takes a step back 2 off the bounce. Shot is good. 5 straight for Alfonso Plummer, beginning to percolate. Jones down the near side. He looks back at Howard, who calls out a play. Now moves toward the logo. This crowd starting to swell. Jones high in the left wing gets a screen from Fultz. Moves right, bumped in a foul. Plummer too overzealous, fighting through the screen.
Coach Underwood better be careful on the sideline.
He is irate. Terrence Williams is going to re-enter for Fultz, who looks to have a combination of being winded and wincing a little bit. Devonte Jones will head to the line here for a 1-and-1, trying to put a 7-0 Illini run to bed. Jones for the 1-and-1. A 62% free throw shooter. Michigan needs one here badly. Jones converts. Chase Howard adjusts his mask. He's checking back into this one. Kobe Buffkin takes a seat. So it's Jones and Brooks in the backcourt. Houston, Howard, and Williams rounding out the 5 on the floor for the Wolverines. And without Dickinson, without Johns, Michigan vacillating between extra small lineups and as big as they could get. This is close to as big as they could get right now. Second free throw for Jones is true, so Devonte Jones converts on a pair of much-needed free throws. Trent Frazier takes it right to left, down the middle with a stutter step. Working with Jones, dribbling with the left hand, now goes in between his legs, working at the point. Pushes it right side for Coleman Hawkins, guarded by Terrence Williams. Hawkins at his left hip, holds the orange. Now puts it on the deck, looking for a guard, gets it to Plummer up top. Plummer with Brooks, shot clock down to 10. Plummer gets a Coburn screen, moves right, shadow by Brooks, leaps it underneath for Coburn at the foul line with Howard, rises for the J, left is short. Long rebound flag down on the far side by Brooks. Left to right, he scampers down the far side, picks up his dribble, giving the left wing for Williams. Williams with Goody, lowers his shoulder, he's shut off on the drive, give back for Jones. Controls of the logo and orchestrates a play. Jones slips the screen, gets to the foul line, probes, turns the corner, layup is good. 4 straight points for Devonte Jones, tough take. And Michigan back within 5.
This is right around the deficit that you're okay going into halftime with, but Michigan really closing in on the pressure of the Illini.
22-17 the score, 4:20 left in the first half. Trent Frazier calls out a play from the logo. Frazier with Jones gets a screen, moves left. Screen doesn't do much. Gets another hedge from Coburn. He curls right, steps into a straightaway 3. Left it short. Rebound. Karams all the way to Jones. Michigan looking to push. Jones weaves his way through the middle. Challenges Frazier. Layup is good.
Wow.
Devonte Jones taking over. He's got 6 straight. Brad Underwood calls a timeout. Michigan back within 3. The lead was up to 7. The Wolverines have weathered the storm, a 6-0 run over the last 78 seconds.
This is the effort and the offense that the Wolverines have been looking for so far in this game. We talked about it at the 10-minute mark, that the transition offense for Michigan looked good, but it wasn't quite there. They weren't converting on the easy bunnies, and now they're getting there, and Devonte Jones continues to work through contact. Nonetheless, that doesn't matter now. He's getting the shots to go. 6 straight for the Coastal Carolina transfer. Talk about much needed for Michigan.
Personal 6-0 run for Jones, right when Michigan's offense had been languishing the entire game and the lead had ballooned to 7. Jones took over when Michigan really needed an individual player to step up and provide that spark. Lo and behold, it's Devonte Jones. Wolverines within 3, and they just won't go away. Illinois has tried its best after that Plummer 3 stretched the lead to 7. This crowd was rocking. Michigan's undermanned but undaunted.
And the Wolverines, too, even working through the foul trouble, they've got 2 guys on the floor right now that have 2 fouls, Jace Howard and Terrence Williams. 2 guys that have helped cover Coburn when he gets inside the paint. But Jace Howard, are you kidding? He's playing fantastic defense against Coburn, really stepping up to the cue. And I'm sure we'll get a big bear hug from Dad after this game if they can pull off this, I would say, perhaps miraculous road win without 2 of their better starters, and especially the guys that would be defending the potential National Player of the Year. It's crazy what these guys are doing, and perhaps a bit understated.
Kofi Coburn averages 22 points, 12.5 rebounds a game. So far tonight, 16 minutes gone by. He's got 8 points, which is about what you would expect. But I dare say it's been a quiet 8 points. He only has 2 rebounds, has 1 block, hasn't made that impact on the glass, which I think is just as imperative for Michigan. If Coburn is snaring every single rebound, which you thought he might with the Wolverines playing without Dickinson and Johns, that would make it nearly impossible for Michigan to do anything. But he only has 2. That's a credit to Michigan boxing out. That's a credit to them crashing the glass. And here they are, down only 3 with 4:01 to play in half number 1.
Boy, he had 8 of their first 12, and he has not scored since. They're now at 22 points. Michigan, who's closed the gap down to 3. You know, I talked about it just a few short minutes ago. 7 points, I said, you would be comfortable with 7. They're all the way down to 3, and they still haven't gotten a 3-pointer to fall. So Michigan, I would expect at some point them to start popping shots rather than just running the shot clock all the way down. But playing slow has somewhat worked for them so far. 4 minutes left. They're only trailing by 3.
And Illinois also second nationally in rebounding. They averaged 44 rebounds a game. A Michigan team without Dickinson just getting out-rebounded by 3, 17-14, and 7 offensive rebounds to boot. Spirited effort so far. Michigan rolling on a 6-0 run, all via Devonte Jones. They've cut a 7-point lead down to 3. 22-19 to score for the Illini.
All starters in right now for Illinois, with the exception of Grandison, who sits on the far end of the bench. Not much of a day so far for Grandison.
This game was 22-13. It's now 22-19. Williams inbounds to Frazier. He'll take it right to left, shadowed by Jones. It's Jones, Brooks, Houston, Howard, and Williams, the 5 on the floor for the Wolverines. Pitches up top for Plummer. Left side it goes to Hawkins. Matched up with Terrence Williams, given the left wing for Frazier. Houston on him. Frazier tries to shake him baseline. Nothing doing. Drops it inside Coburn. Williams brings a double. Howard falls down. Coburn layup is good. Late contest at the rim from Howard, but Coburn just too strong underneath. The Illini up 5. Devonte Jones handles up top, gets a high screen from Howard, moves left. Jones downhill, tries to turn the corner, shut off by Coburn, gets it away for Williams, back in the corner for Brooks, now on the wing for Jones. Swing it around. Williams to Jones on the left wing, shot clock at 10. Jones probes, working with Hawkins, shot clock at 8, pushes for Houston. Houston up top, slips the Howard screen, carves his way inside, finger roll runner, rolls off the rim, and Coburn secures the board with a pair of hands.
That's the easiest shot that Houston's gotten so far today. They've really been shutting him off on the 3-point line. If he gets inside, he's just got to convert. Nice play by James.
Throws it away. Howard swoops in for the steal. Under 3 to play in the first half. Michigan down by 5. Brooks slams on the brakes, now pulls back beyond the arc and recess. Given the high on the left wing for Jones, working with Frazier. Jones gets a screen from Howard, curls to the foul line. Flip shot in the lane, rimming off. Unfriendly iron down on this end for the Wolverines. Demante Williams with the board. Frazier rifles left side. Williams skip pass into the far side corner. Plummer unloads a three. Off the heel, no good. Houston flags down the strong side board. Houston left to right down the far side. He's 0 of 5 so far tonight. Gives away for Brooks at the logo. Frazier on him. Juwan Howard calls out a play. Brooks motions left, working with Frazier. Gets a screen from Williams. Uses it. Moves toward the point. Another hedge from Howard. Kicks it back on the left side. Williams attacks. Spins into the lane. Draws a crowd. 8 to shoot. Williams back out on the left wing for Houston. 5 to shoot. Gets it inside Williams. Lowers the shoulder. 3 to shoot. Williams, one-legged jerk, fadeaway, pops out. Rebound. Hawkins and Howard fighting for it. Jace Howard dives on the floor to get it. Out for Jones. Lines up a left wing three. That's good. Devonte Jones ring it up. Michigan within 2. The bench explodes. The hustle plays again. And then a whistle and an offensive foul on Trent Frazier. Demante Jones pressuring him 90 feet from the basket. Juwan Howard slams a high five with Jace Howard. Michigan's fired up. Everything going the Wolverines' way.
And how about Devonte Jones? Yeah, he may have played a bit of flop ball there under the basket, but Trent Frazier is going to continue to hear it at some point from Brad Underwood. That's 2, dare I say, boneheaded mistakes that Frazier has played.
And this Michigan team, you have to admire the hustle. The hustle and the effort. Benjamin Bossmans Verdonk into the game for Illinois. They'll spell Trent Frazier. The 5 out there for Michigan. Houston, Brooks, Williams, Falls, and Jones, who's been the engine so far tonight. Jones on the left wing around the Falls screen. High on that side. Give for Houston off the curl. Pocket feed for Falls in the corner. Back out left side Houston. Houston thought about the 3 entry feed for Falls. 10 to shoot. Falls goes at Coburn. Lowers the right shoulder. Spins back. Falls nearly shuffled his feet. Gets it out for Jones. Jones probes. Runner. Off glass. Left it short. Rebound for Bossmans Verdon. Illinois pushing. Plummer in the right wing. Thought about a 3. Give up top. Skip pass into the corner for Hawkins. Hawkins with Brooks. Now on the right side, Williams. Up top, Bossmans Verdon. Give for Plummer. Draws a switch into Jones. Skip pass again for Hawkins. Works the baseline on Brooks. Shut off nicely. Back outside for Demante Williams. Shot clock down to 10. Williams working with Terrence Williams. Gets a screen. Nothing doing. Spins to the foul line. Weaves inside. Jumper over Falls. Won't go. Out of bounds. Going to Michigan. 62 seconds to play in the first half. Wolverines can tie this baby with a basket.
A bit of miscommunication on the offensive end for the Fighting Illini because Hawkins was really driving towards the basket as if he was waiting to receive an alley-oop from his teammate, and instead ended up being a shot, and it flew out of bounds, hitting the referee on the baseline.
24-22, Michigan down 2. Jones on the left wing around the screen to the elbow. Pocket feed for Falls. Falls lowers his shoulder into Coburn. Walled off, and he traveled. And Michigan keeps trying to go back to Falls against Coburn. It hasn't worked. I don't know if that's the recipe tonight. Demante Williams carries right to left. Jones right there at half court to meet him. Williams angles left. Jones shadows him up in his grill. Williams switches with the right hand. Entry feed for Coburn. Working with Falls. Lowers the shoulder. Across the layup. Good. Too easy for Kofi Coburn, but that's what you're going to get. Jones quickly the other way, left to right down the near side, working with Williams, and now slows things down. There's about a 1.5 differential between the shot clock and the game clock. 20 on the shot clock as Jones dribbles it out up top. Michigan trails by 4 as the crowd inside State Farm Center rises to its feet. Jones high on the left wing, shot clock down to 10. Demante Williams waiting for him at the arc. Shot clock at 5 for Jones. Falls sprints out for a screen. Jones moves left, downhill, weaves right. Jones draws Coburn in the pocket. Fakes, leans it to Williams. Cross-court feed. That's a shot clock violation.
Michigan would have gotten their first 3-pointer to fall, too, as Eli Brooks hit one from the left wing.
Not great presence of mind there from Jones. He's had a spectacular first half with 11 points and 5 rebounds. But a blemish there. 0.5 of a second remain. Inbound comes in quickly to Plummer. He tosses it away. That'll do it for the first half. Michigan down only 4, playing on the road for the first time in 10 days after a COVID-19 outbreak. They're without Hunter Dickinson. They're without Brandon Johns. And yet they're only down 4, 26-22, as they waltz into the halftime locker room. A spirited, aggressive effort on both ends for Michigan so far tonight.
I'm also a little perplexed by the decision there at the end by the Wolverines to hold the ball all the way until 10 seconds and then try and play a screen game and try and waltz their way into the paint. I just don't know about the final play call from Coach Howard, whether or not that's what they wanted. because Eli Brooks was wide open on the left wing to get that shot off. However, they just didn't really have the knowledge of what time the play clock was at, and the shot clock violation happened. The Wolverines should be within a possession if they just played that a second quicker.
Michigan shooting just 28% from the field, but the Wolverines have held Illinois to 40% from the field. It's been an effort on both ends, marked by aggression, marked by tenacity, diving on the floor for offensive rebounds and loose balls. They've got 8 rebounds on the offensive side of things. They're really holding their own tonight. This is without Dickinson. Coburn, I should say, has 12 points and 3 rebounds, but Michigan hasn't allowed him to dominate the game. The lead for Illinois ballooned to 9. Michigan has never led, but the Wolverines have not let this game get out of hand as a marriage proposal happens on the screen. Quite exciting. I think she said yes, folks. Jordan and Randy, congratulations. But yeah, good effort so far from Michigan. Down 4 at halftime. If you're Juwan Howard, what are you emphasizing? What are you de-emphasizing in that halftime locker room?
I'm going to continue to emphasize, but I'm positive that he talked about before the game and pregame, the effort. The effort level needs to stay consistent, if not a little bit higher. We saw the Wolverines with a valiant effort in the first half. They were shutting off passes from the extra guards outside the three-point arc. They were double-teaming the potential national player of the year inside the paint. Yes, they picked up numerous fouls. However, each of them will be able to play in the second half. And you know who we didn't see for the final 15 minutes, and yet the score is still 4 points?
Moussa Diabate.
He sat on the bench. He tried to sneak back in.
He tried. And
he did try.
Announcer. But Michigan will get Moussa Diabate back. Devonte Jones came on very strong late. He has 11 points, 4 and 9 from the field, canned 2 free throws and a 3. They need Caleb Houston to get going. He's blanketed 0 of 5 and 0 of 3 from distance. Eli Brooks has 4. Moussa had 4 in 5 efficient minutes. And Terrence Williams with a bucket as well. Low scoring affair. It's a grinder. Can Michigan come out top? We will see. We're going to take a quick little break. Be back in about 7 to 8 minutes or so during halftime. 26-22, Illinois on top. But this is shaping up to be a good one. Contrary to what many thought prior to this ballgame, you're going to want to tune in for the second half. For Zach Linfield, I'm Jared Greenspan. We'll be back in about 8 minutes.
dunk. I think I'm going to try to work like, I'm going to try to deal with more gameplay than spacing. I feel like once I get that down, then the other stuff will, come along. And then the YouTube should be at that one right there. Yeah, you can switch those two if you want. Yeah, I got you. Go back at 1 minute. I got it. We might as well go back in now. Ready? Where did you have it at? What time? I don't remember. Welcome back into State Farm Arena. 26-22 is his current score after halftime between the Wolverines and the Fighting Illini here in Champaign. My name's Zach Linfield, alongside the right side of the great Jared Greenspan, who brought you the first half. We're very excited to get going. The Wolverines without Hunter Dickinson, without Brandon Johns Jr., and with a lot of foul trouble, the Wolverines look poised in the second half to continue the valiant effort that they put up in the first. And it's got to continue with hustling Kofi Coburn with double teams in the paint in the second half, Jared.
A spirited, tenacious effort from an undermanned Michigan squad without their two big men, really. Two of three big men, if you include Moussa Diabate, with Brandon Johns and Hunter Dickinson out for conditioning reasons following bouts with COVID. And Moussa also, they played the last 15 minutes of the half without the freshman after he picked up 2 early fouls. And yet here are the Wolverines, aggressive, tenacious. They really want this one. Down by only 4. Let's see how they come out of the halftime locker room here to begin the second half.
Offensive MVP for the Wolverines, obviously Devonte Jones. 11 points. He went for 6 consecutive with about 4 minutes to go in that first half. He also drew a critical offensive foul on Trent Frazier. And the Wolverines, the electricity built from there in the maize and blue, they're excited for the second half. Juwan Howard had to have preached this effort in the second half and needs to get even higher. Put it through the roof, get ready for the second half, and give it all you got.
We know Michigan's going to come out with energy, with tenacity, with flair. What I want to see, what is Illinois going to come out with? Because to me, to us, they kind of sleptwalk through those first 20 minutes. How are they going to approach these first 5 minutes especially is what I'm looking for.
Frazier, Grandison, Plummer, Williams, Coburn for the Fighting Illini. Williams, Jones, Diabate, Houston, Brooks, as Frazier gets it across the timeline with the block eye, and the state of Illinois faded behind it. Frazier at the right wing gives it the top of the key to Plummer, the three-point threat. Demante Williams, left wing. Frazier around the screen from Coburn against the defending Jones. Top of the key, three-point try for Plummer. That's Grandison, his first points of the day. And Illinois now goes up by 7, 29-22.
Jones got caught on a screen and came up a little gimpy and lame. Want to see him here, how he reacts in this offensive possession.
He's got the ball at the top of the key now, gets away with the push-off, drives inside the lane. A little floater from 3 feet away. It's no good. Rebound goes to Grandison, who pushes right side to Frazier. Frazier with an arm brace on his right shoulder. Grandison top of the key, floats to the corner. Plummer kicks back out. Frazier, a three-point try, right wing. That can't find its way down. Offensive rebound goes to Grandison. Eli Brooks will be called for a foul right inside the right wing in the arc. And that'll be the first team foul for the Wolverines in the second half as they trail by 7, not quite a minute into the second half.
And Caleb Houston got beat very badly on a dribble drive there. That cannot happen. Devonte Jones is pulled. I think he was motioning to Devonte Jones's thigh/hip area to see how he is.
He goes immediately to the trainer's area to get checked up on. Trent Frazier with the basketball, 15 on the shot clock. Driving with the right side is Plummer. Left-handed layup is no good. Coburn, the offensive rebound. He drives into Diabate. He tried to throw it down. And man, that would have been a poster hanging on the wall in his room for years to come.
Coburn cocked back and tried to throw that one to Ann Arbor.
Michigan with Frankie Collins in the game running point. Hair dazzling in the wind as he crosses the timeline. Brooks around a screen. Goes up against Frazier. Kicks to the left wing where Williams is standing. Inside to the left post, Diabate works. Squares up against Coburn. Pulls up from 10 feet away. Shot doesn't fall. Offensive rebound goes to Diabate. Frankie Collins with a nice little tip back. Collins drives the lane. Now kicks back top of the key to Williams. Right wing back to Collins. He's defended by Plummer. Nice crafty dribble inside the lane for Collins. He puts it up with the left hand and rattles it home.
Frankie Collins on a springboard to leap high into the air and tap that offensive rebound to Musa, keeping it alive.
Frazier, a crafty dribble at midcourt. Goes between the legs, stops at the left wing, top of the key, Coburn. He's not a threat to shoot the three ball. He drives inside the lane. Lots of space for Coburn. He missed it off the front of the rim, gets his own rebound. He's triple teamed, now double teamed, trying to back his way down. Crafty hands from the Wolverine defenders. Eli Brooks trying to take it away, and Coburn gets the and one.
I mean, at a point, there's nothing you could do. This man is 7 foot, 285 pounds, and he is every bit of that. Moose is 6'11", but he is a freshman. He is skinny. And that's
Diabate's third foul, and that's big time for the Wolverines on defense.
The thinness is amplified when he stands next to Coburn. And it's like a limb in a tree.
31-24, the Illini advantage. Coburn from the free throw line. 4 for 6 today. He missed his first two, 4 for 4 since. 14 points, trying to make it 15. Front of the rim, back of the rim, falls through. 18 minutes to go in the ball game. 8-point lead for the Illini. Against a discombobulated Michigan team who dealt with COVID, lost their last 2 games. Brooks drives the lane, loses the ball. Diabate picks it up at the right post. Houston kicks to the far right side. Williams back top of the key to Houston. Left wing for Brooks. He stares down Frazier, gets a screen from Diabate, works to the left post, now wheels his way around to the paint. A nice little pass. Williams is caught in the corner, dumps inside Diabate, 5 on the shot clock, spins on Coburn, goes up with the right hand, can't get it to fall. Nice effort play by Diabate, he got it back. A wide open three-point try for Houston, can't take it home. Diabate, offensive board, goes into Coburn, puts it up off the glass and good. Brad Underwood is losing it on the sideline. Currently 26 points for the Wolverines. They trail by 6 here in Champaign.
Caleb's got to knock down that 3, but Musa undaunted again.
Driving with the right hand is Williams. He goes around a Coburn screen. A shot is blocked. Nice active hands by Diabate, and Frankie Collins pushes well up the floor to Houston. A right-handed layup. He got the extension and the shot off the glass. 4-point spread.
Just a gorgeous pass hitting Houston in stride, and Houston depth enough to switch hands, go with the left and slip it in.
His first points of the ball game. Michigan does not have an athlete on the floor with double figures. Frazier. Quick pass, Grandison coming from the backside. Brooks tries to take it away from Coburn. A double team. Kicks outside. Demante Williams gave it in the corner to Plummer, the three-point threat. 8 on the shot clock. Puts up a shot, fading away. It's no good. Rebound goes to Coburn in the post. Frazier, a long three-point try, is in.
Frazier knew that was in the second it left his hand.
Back to a 7-point lead for the Illini. Crowd on their feet. Sold out State Farm Arena. 16-15 to go in the ball game. Collins working at the Illini logo. Juwan Howard calling out the signals to his club. Diabate just inside the three-point arc, waiting for Houston around a screen. That's a foul called against Demante Williams. He fell to the ground as he went around a screen from Terrence Williams. And Williams on Williams action. Demante gets the foul call.
The Michigan bench of note could not be more locked into this game. They are all standing up when there is a foul call. They are all up in arms. They are cheering. They are hollering. They are hooting. They are dialed into this game, and it's reflective in what is going on the court. All 5 players on Michigan's team are locked in, and it's paying dividends.
Illinois' Hawkins enters the game for Williams, who takes a seat on the near sideline. Collins dumps to Diabate. He goes into Coburn. There's a foul call, and I don't think they're going to boo about this one as he got Coburn up into the air. That's crafty by the freshman from France. and he'll go to the free throw line. Michigan trails 35-28 in a continued valiant effort for the Wolverines. The under 16 timeout occurs.
That's tremendous awareness from Diabate, and I think everyone on Michigan's team should take note. They're steadfast in that they want to go after Coburn. That's fine, but if they go after Coburn, they should do exactly what Diabate just did. They should up fake the first time, see if they get Coburn off his feet or slightly off balance. If that happens, go after him. If it doesn't happen and Coburn is sturdy, they should pass it back out. But doing what Diabate did right there is perfect. You test the waters. Coburn is overzealous at times. He loves to block the basketball. He loves the oohs and the ahs from the crowd. He's gotten them all night. He wants to send that one way back to Michigan, back to Ann Arbor. So you got to pump fake, and that is what Diabate did. He's got 2 free throws coming up for it.
Michigan was outscored by 4 points in the first half. They're being outscored by 3 in the second. It's a 7-point deficit for the Wolverines, who continue their fight. 35-28, very low scoring. So if you were a fan of the under tonight, that looks very promising for you. Michigan doing all that they can to try and keep Kofi Coburn off the glass. So far, he's dominated here in the early second half.
And I think that was what I wanted to see. How much energy would Illinois come out with? They've come out with a lot more energy than they showed in the first half. And what would their game plan be? Well, they've thrown it into Coburn on every possession, as they should. He's got him triple teamed. He's strong enough to finish through them. When he doesn't, there are open shooters on the perimeter. Trent Frazier's knocks him down. Some haven't. Michigan's willing to live with those. And I think Illinois should be also. If they're wide open, that should be the game plan. They know that they can get wide open threes or a layup from Coburn if they go inside. That's what they should do to start every possession, and they're doing that, and it's working much better for them. As you said, outscoring Michigan 9-6 here, 4 minutes and a second into the second half.
Michigan's had 2 different players play a team leading 21 minutes, and perhaps a little under the radar is Terrence Williams. He has 2 points. Eli Brooks has 4. The only Wolverine in double figures is currently sitting on the bench with the perhaps injury in Devonte Jones. We know this isn't a deep team right now. The Wolverines only have 10 guys that they put on the floor, and perhaps only 10 active guys, and every single one of them has at least 1 foul. Diabate is the only one with 3 or more.
And again, they need more from Caleb Houston. He has looked abysmal tonight. He's 1 of 7, 0 of 4 from 3, including a few wide open shots. They're strapped for offense. They're without Hunter Dickinson. Every wide open shot they get, they need to make. Caleb Houston's got to get going here.
In Illinois, they can't shoot the 3 all that well currently either. They're 3 of 12. That's only 25%. Michigan is 1 for 8. However, the big difference so far in this game is that the Illini have been to the free throw line 13 times and the Wolverines 6. So you get to the free throw line a little bit more in the second half, you put yourself in a pretty decent position to succeed throughout the rest of this ballgame.
And I think a lot of that is a byproduct of their strategy inside against Coburn and their inability to match up one-on-one personnel-wise.
$35-28 is the score here in the second half. 15:59 remaining. Moussa Diabate will shoot 2 for the Wolverines.
2 crucial free throws coming up from Moussa. Just a 56% free throw shooter.
Rubs some sweat on the ball. 2 dribbles with the right hand. A big squat, and he fires. The first one in toilet bowls back towards him at the free throw stripe.
Cruel rims tonight for the Wolverines.
Michigan now only shooting 3 of 7 from the charity stripe. The second for the freshman from France finds its way through. 6-point lead, Illinois. 1-man press. Frazier works against Collins, who is pesky as ever on him in the first half. He works at the Illinois logo. Grandison at the right wing being defended by Houston. Big hands. A long pass to the far corner. Plummer drives the lane, and he's almost blocked by Diabate. Somehow got it over the outstretched hands, and it falls. 37-29 Illinois.
Talk about high off glass for Alfonso Plummer.
Houston from the right wing. Top of the key, Brooks through the leg dribble. Worked with the right hand. Diabate now at the top of the key. Doesn't even look at the 3-point shot. Frankie Collins left wing now off the pass from Diabate. He drives baseline around Coburn. Brooks outside the 3-point arc. Lost the ball, but Frazier dives at his legs. And now Brooks picks it back up to the top of the key with 5 to shoot. Brooks around the Diabate screen. He spins back towards the left side. A nice shot off the glass, and it doesn't go through. The ball will go over to Illinois after Frankie Collins put in a nice effort to take the ball away from Plummer, but Illinois will have it with 15:09 to go in the second half with an 8-point lead.
Wasted possession there for Michigan. Can't stack those up in a game like this. Down 8 and teetering a little bit.
Frazier works against Collins. Left-handed dribble, stares down the freshman. Gets a screen from Plummer, now a double screen from Coburn. They tried to find him on the pick and roll. Grandison now right corner. He kicks to Hawkins, who gives away to Plummer. Back to the right wing for Frazier. Looks inside for Coburn. Here comes the double team. The pass goes inside Hawkins. It's taken away by Collins at the right post, and Collins will walk the ball up the floor. No Jones since he was injured a few short minutes ago. Collins works into Coburn. The ball goes off a Wolverine hand. That's Houston and out of bounds.
Right idea from Frankie Collins. Caleb Houston just not ready for it. Hot and ready on the baseline.
Michigan gets a stop on one end. They need to convert on the other if they want to stay in this game. 8-point lead currently for the Fighting Illini as they work from left to right. Collins defends the point guard Frazier at the top of the key. Around a screen from Coburn to the right corner where Grandison stands. Nice baseline pass. Coburn goes into a Michigan defender. That's Brooks. He gets his own pass and puts it up with the left hand. Biggest lead of the day for Illinois.
Missed shots are essentially passes to himself when it comes to Kofi Coburn.
Juwan Howard directing traffic, getting a screen from the referee. Collins drives the lane off the right hand and out over the outstretched hands of Coburn, who knocked down Collins. Back to an 8-point lead for Illinois.
Frankie Collins just soaring at Kofi Coburn. Well in the air and, again, unfazed by the big man in the middle.
Frazier at the State Farm Center logo. Dribbles with the left hand. Goes around a screen. Collins, three-point try for Frazier. It's no good. Rebound goes to Brooks at the left corner. Brooks dribbles it up the floor. Goes around a screen from Diabate. He works with the left hand. Off the glass and through.
Again, they are fearless inside, going right at Coburn. A concerted effort to challenge him.
Michigan 4 of their last 5 field goals. Inside pass. Grandison goes to Coburn. Corner kick for Plummer, who drives with the right hand off the glass and can't get it to go. Diabate, a nice stretched rebound. And here comes Brooks from right to left.
Great contest by Williams.
Diabate at the post. Goes around Coburn. He traveled with it. And Coburn, a couple fist pumps. Michigan's going to get Devonte Jones and Kobe Buffkin back in the game. Omar Payne and Demante Williams re-enter for the Fighting Illini. Coburn will sit down, and it looks like Frazier will take a seat as well.
Illinois had some really strong ball movement spraying around the perimeter when Coburn was in. What does that look like when Coburn is out, with Michigan no longer double-teaming any player on the floor?
22-point average for Coburn. He has 17 with 13 minutes to go, leading by 6. Jones, a tight defense against Demante Williams. A couple between the leg dribbles, and the ball's lost. Devonte Jones on the floor trying to rip it away from Williams. And there's a whistle down on the court. Should be a jump ball. It is, and the ball will go over to the maize and blue.
There is the Devonte Jones that was advertised to us throughout the whole offseason. We thought that Devonte Jones was going to be a pesky defender. He's 6'1", but has a 6'7" wingspan. He's shown that tonight. A few steals. He's aggressive. He's in the face of the Illini players, and it's paying off.
Diabate from the top of the key. Surveying the offense. Around a screen goes Brooks. Falling over Devonte Jones was Devonte Williams, and all over go bodies on the far side of the floor. 6-point lead for Illinois.
Jones is going to have a few nicks and bruises, some battle scars after this one.
Demante Williams.
Not sure what
very aggressively.
Not sure what he was trying to accomplish. Literally just bulldozing Jones on a screen.
Brooks to run the offense, and Devonte Jones lost his shoe.
A very eventful return for Devonte Jones. Quite adventurous, and he's become public enemy number 1 here inside State Farm Center.
Look at Juwan Howard on the big board. He is smiling. He's laughing. He thinks this is the grandest time as he hears the boos from the Fighting Illini crowd. And if there was one reception that wasn't particularly warm today, it was during the starting lineups when Juwan Howard's name was called. That may have been the biggest boo that we heard, and I'm sure we would have heard an even bigger one for Hunter Dickinson. There was a lot of chatter back and forth on social media between the two programs before this game, before the game last year. Michigan, of course, ended up winning the regular season championship, much to the demise of the Illinois faithful in their program. Brooks from the left wing, 10 to shoot. He goes around a screen from Diabate, pulls up from the left elbow, can't get it to go. Rebound goes to Omar Payne, who recently checked in for Coburn. Hawkins works with the right hand, gives way to Williams at the Fighting Illini logo midcourt. Williams really working the 5-second count. He finally gets away from Eli Brooks. He pulls back, gives way to Plummer at the top of the key, defended by Williams. Plummer drives, left-hand scoop and score.
It's Terrence Williams beat off the dribble drive. We've seen that so far throughout this season. Williams a little slow on defense.
41-33 is the Illinois lead. Media timeout coming next whistle. Jones around a screen, runs over his defender Plummer. A flop call potentially called, and Omar Payne will grab the rebound. The referees will stop play to call a flop warning against Alfonso Plummer. So the ball will go over to Illinois after the media timeout. 11:49 remaining, 41-33 is the Illinois lead.
Terrence Williams limped off after that last play, stretching a little bit. Not receiving any medical attention, but he's sitting down working through it. Not sure whether that's cramps or if he got twisted up. But he is. Now I think John Sanderson is looking over at him.
Michigan currently on the floor is working with Buffkin, Williams, Jones, Diabate, and Brooks. 4 of those were starters. Williams, Jones, Diabate, Brooks. Michigan without Hunter Dickinson, without Brandon Johns Jr. They worked in the first half defending the big Kofi Coburn with Musa Diabate, who quickly picked up 2 fouls. Jaron Faulds and Jace Howard, along with a tad here and there of Terrence Williams II. Michigan working with some odd lineups to defend the potential National Player of the Year, and certainly an effort that will not go overlooked, even if Michigan goes to fall in this contest.
A valiant effort indeed for Michigan. You go down to that huddle right now, no one is talking about valiant effort. They want to win. They are in this game. They're down 8. I don't think anyone really thought they would be down 8 at this juncture with 11:49 to play. This game is within their reach, and I don't think they want any moral victories as much as they could use this as a springboard and a launching pad moving forward. They're not talking about moral victories in that huddle. They want to win this ball game, and that's an attainable goal right now.
The second half has certainly gone by much faster than the first half. There's only 11:49 to go. It seems like time-wise, we were at about 18:30 in the first half after this amount of time had gone by. Foul calls, stoppages of play, out of bounds. You could have named it in the first half. It was something to behold to see here inside the State Farm Arena.
Much less hacking and whacking, more fluid plays on both ends. Hasn't exactly been smooth. Still turnovers, but the pace of play has quickened a little bit.
Coburn, one of the country's leaders in double-doubles, beginning to near that feat. 17 points, 7 boards. Michigan's closest to a double-double would be Musa Diabate, 7 points and 6 boards for him. Devonte Jones is the team's leader in points with 11. And a healthy Devonte Jones would be a good sign throughout the rest of this contest. He's really been the fireball for the Wolverines in the first half offensively, not as much so far in the second, though.
A bit of a missed opportunity the last minute or so for the Wolverines. Once Coburn checked out of the ball game, that was an opportunity to be stronger on the defensive end because you didn't have to spray double and triple teams at the big man in the middle. Didn't exactly capitalize on that, still staring down an 8-point deficit. But again, as we've seen throughout this game, they're not letting this get out of hand. They'll have the ball coming out of the timeout. A basket there would be integral and would go a long way towards any sort of comeback. So we'll see what Juwan Howard dials up and who exactly will be the 5 that return to the floor.
Michigan trails by 8, with just under 12 to go. And it seems like in this game so far, 10 points is the cap for the Fighting Illini. They got to 10 here in the second half. Michigan has not led in this ball game. Nonetheless, they've gotten close. They've been within 1 possession. They've constantly been within 2. But it's a lot like the Rutgers game last week where Michigan just couldn't get within a certain number. And so far, that's pretty much been the case in the second half.
And now they're playing a better team, and they're without their best player. So it's certainly a difficult task at hand.
And an additional starter at that.
We'll see if they're up for it.
Jace Howard checks into the game for Michigan. Diabate, Brooks, Jones, and Buffkin join him. Grandison, Williams, Payne, Plummer, and Hawkins are in the game for the Illini wearing their white uniforms, blue numbers. Michigan in their pitch navy uniforms, perhaps a signal of MLK Day on Monday. Michigan will wear special shooters warm-ups for that game as Illinois has the ball. Trent Frazier, a pull-up three from the left wing, can't get it to go. Brooks gets a rebound off a bump away from Jones. Brooks to Jones, who drives with the right hand. A nice little floater inside the lane off the glass and through.
Again, this is the Devonte Jones we were advertised. He caught that ball and knew exactly what he was going to do, confident, and executed it.
Demante Williams, who's had a bit of trouble here in the second half, controlling the basketball, gets a screen away, and now he's covered by Jones. Another screen. Plummer is defended by Jones. Hawkins drives with the right hand, gives it away to Plummer at the top of the key, who's now defended by Jace Howard. He drives inside the lane. A nice shot off the top of the glass. I don't think he can get much higher to get it over the freshman from France. 43-35 is the lead for the Illini.
You go any higher than that, it's sailing into the crowd.
Brooks at the left wing. 20 on the shot clock. Jace Howard, top of the key, away to Jones on the far side of the floor. He dribbles with the left hand at the free throw line, gives it to Howard. And Howard lost it. It goes out of bounds, and it will remain Michigan basketball. Into the game for the Illini are Coburn and Frazier.
Good feed from Jones. Howard a little loosey-goosey. Now here comes the 1-2 dynamite combination. It's Frazier, the point guard, Coburn, the big man. Probably the best two players on the Illini, at least best two healthy players. Andre Curbelo has not played since November. He's still out tonight.
Brooks gets the inbounds pass. Under 10 on the shot clock. Brooks puts up a shot from the corner. He perhaps thought he had less time, and it was an air ball. Goes to the Illini.
Very half-heartedly, and it showed with the air ball.
Frazier, left wing, to the corner. Top of the key. Three-point try. That's Grandison off the back of the iron. No good. Rebound will go to the Wolverines and Jones. Nice effort by Bufkin. He tore it away from Coburn. Jones inside. Diabate works in on Coburn off the glass and through.
There's that hustle from Musa. He beat Coburn down the floor, was wide open, established himself, and a great find from Jones.
And here we go again. 6-point lead for the Illini. 10 to play. Around a screen goes Frazier. Grandison back to Plummer at the right wing. Top of the key to the point guard, Frazier. Frazier drives left hand. Tried to kick it inside to Coburn. Top of the key, Williams. He drives at the free throw line. Doesn't take the shot. Grandison a corner three. In and out. Rebound to Bufkin. Michigan could make it a one-possession game on this possession here. Bufkin drives the lane. Wide open layup and through.
Kobe Bufkin knew what he was doing the second he got the ball in the backcourt. No one picked him up. His defender was late. Coast to coast. Michigan within 4.
Frazier runs over Jones. He fell down, and now Frazier has the ball. Jones got back up and readily defending. There's a foul on the near end here. It looks like it'll go against Jace Howard, who's playing hard against Jacob Grandison.
You can't hear behind us, there's a fan bemoaning the fact that Juwan Howard is on the floor a little bit, yelling out to his team. He wants a uniform on him. I don't think he's going to get his wish.
Grandison will inbound to Trent Frazier at the Illinois logo. He works to the left wing. This is Plummer, three-point threat. To the right wing he goes. Defended by Bufkin, took a couple of extra steps and gives it away to Frazier in the corner.
A lot of extra steps.
Right, at the top of the point. Frazier, he slips and falls. The ball will go to the Wolverines. Howard has it. He drives the lane with the right hand. Works inside the paint. He'll be fouled. And 2 shots will be coming for Jace Howard. So momentum perhaps in the hands of the Wolverines inside an eerily silent State Farm Arena in Champaign.
Momentum has totally switched. The air sucked out of the balloon. The fast break was Jace Howard trying to do a little too much with the Euro step. Got bailed out with the foul call. If he can knock down these, we've got a 2-point game. That would be the closest it's been since it was 24-22 towards the end of the first half.
Howard has only shot 2 for 5 on the season from the free throw line, make it 3 of 6. Checking in for Illinois is R.J. Melendez. He plays 8 minutes a game, did not play at Nebraska, averages just over 5 points a game. Michigan trails by 3. It's a one-possession game for the first time since later in the first half. Howard bends at the knees, fires away, and it's through. 2-point game in Champaign. Trent Frazier scored 29 points. He was a team leader at Nebraska on Tuesday. He has the basketball now at the Illinois logo. Works against Jones. Around a screen, he finds Plummer. He's defended by Brooks, still at the logo. Melendez at the left wing, getting his first opportunity in today's game. Frazier trying to get around a screen from Coburn, and his own players in his way. The ball will go out of bounds. It was off Devonte Jones, 10 on the shot clock when play resumes.
Devonte Jones and Frankie Collins, since the jump of this one, pesky, using their wingspans, using their quickness to get in the passing lanes, to get their hands on the dribble. And Illinois just dysfunctional and a little out of sorts because of it.
Michigan, one-on-one ISO, Coburn and Musa Diabate. Coburn gets the best of Diabate there. He spun off the left hand, and it went through. He can use both hands, right and left. 4-point game. Brad Underwood attempting to get the orange crush in the Illini fans in this game. Everyone rises to their feet in the State Farm Arena. Brooks to Diabate inside the paint. He got away with the travel. Brooks outside the arc. Dribbles with the left hand. Tries to go around a screen from Diabate, and that is an eerie call on the near sideline. Juwan Howard working the referees, and that's another foul against Diabate. That's his fourth.
Looking at the replay, it looked to be an illegal screen for me. My gripe is on the other end. Brooks has to get the double team over quicker. It's the first time tonight where I remember the double team being late.
8:10 to go in the ball game. 4-point lead for Illinois. Frazier has a hand in his face from Devonte Jones. Grandison inside to Jaron Falls, who checked into the game. Double team on Coburn. Coburn tries to pass across the key, and it was taken away by Melendez. Brooks being chased down by Coburn. Brooks to the corner where Jace Howard stands. Back to Brooks, and there's a whistle. And we have a flop warning. That's the second one of the game. That's a technical foul. It'll go against RJ Melendez. Will hit a media timeout. 7:49 to go. Illinois leads 45-41. Things getting really interesting here in Champaign.
Interesting indeed. Michigan continuing to prove its mettle. At each juncture, when it seems as if the Illini are poised to run away with this one, the Wolverines, backs against the wall, battle back. They were within 2, now they're down 4. The Illini are dysfunctional. Even when Kofi gets double and triple teamed, I mean, when he is double teamed inside, there is a wide open shooter. Coburn hasn't always been able to reach them. We saw at the last possession, he just threw it cross court, telegraphed it right to Devonte Jones. And that's in part why Michigan is feasting. Coburn has been tremendous tonight. He's got 19 points, but he's also up to 3 turnovers, and he hasn't really dominated in the way you might have suspected he would have, especially with Dickinson being out. I mean, Michigan has really held its own. They've had a solid game plan, and I don't think the Illini were ready for it with the double teams. Coburn hasn't looked totally smooth. He's looked flustered at times, and I think it's showing. And I think we're at the point. 7:49 left in this one. Michigan's in it for the long haul.
And perhaps maybe the youth sort of coming out today for Caleb Houston and Musa Diabate. A couple of here and there fouls that Musa maybe shouldn't have indulged himself in with Coburn, and Houston with only 2 points. He's got to find the bottom of the rim a bit more.
Very encouraging performance from Diabate. Very encouraging performance from Frankie Collins. Kobe Buffkin has held his own. Devonte Jones has been superb, just shy of tremendous so far tonight. But there's still 7:49 to go, and the same holds for what I said at the last media timeout. They're not talking about moral victories. They're not talking about launching points in that huddle. They're talking about winning this game. They're down 4. They've got a technical foul shot coming up. This game is fully within their reach. On the road, undermanned, in a very hostile environment, and they want it.
And statistically, you're going to be picking Eli Brooks to take these technical free throws. He just shoots below 89% on the season. He is on the floor right now, so he would be eligible to take that shot. He's 3 for 9 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, and has not taken a free throw. Michigan is just 6 of 10 from the line.
Another wrinkle that Michigan has added to its offense in the second half. The offense has been much better in the second half. Part of that is their running. They're beating Illinois down the floor. They've gotten a few key transition buckets, especially at junctures when they really needed baskets. They're not slowing things down after these turnovers. And I think in the first half, we saw them get stagnant in the half court. Well, there's an easy way to avoid getting stagnant in the half court. You never get to the half court offense in the first place. They've been pushing it. We've seen Diabate beat Coburn. We've seen Caleb Houston beat his man down the floor. We've seen Kobe Buffkin beat his man down the floor. These are the hustle points, and they're easy points for Michigan in a game where points have been very hard to come by.
And if this doesn't tell you that the later season matchup between Michigan and Illinois will be a fantastic one, I don't know what else to tell you, because Illinois is still without Curbelo, Michigan without Dickinson and Johns Jr., and perhaps a couple of other pieces that we'd perhaps see if the Wolverines were man down, we'd say. 4-point lead. Illinois has this advantage with 7:49 to go. 4 fouls for each team. Each team has 3 timeouts remaining. And Eli Brooks will promptly step to the charity stripe. 1 free throw and the possession for number 55, Eli Brooks. The 5 Fighting Illini stand at midcourt, hands around each other, as do the Wolverines. Brooks' free throw is straight through. Back to a 1-possession game. Michigan will have the basketball, so a chance to take it down to 1 point for the first time since early first half. Devonte Jones retrieves the inbound from Eli Brooks. A screen from Howard, top of the key, gets another screen from Fald, who remains in the game. Jones works to the right post. Eli Brooks with just about 10 on the shot clock. Brooks drives. Tries to go with the left hand. Puts it up with the right hand. Can't get it to go. Offensive rebound to Jace Howard. Buffkin outside the 3-point arc. Puts it up off the glass and rattles it through.
That is tremendous awareness from Jace Howard and Kobe Buffkin to know that the shot clock didn't reset. With the Brooks air ball, they had 7 to shoot, and they made things happen in a hurry.
This game is down to a single point. Devonte Jones goes stumbling on Frazier, and Grandison turns the ball over. Howard gives it up to Buffkin, and he can't get the pass down. It was an incomplete pass. Nonetheless, Michigan retains possession. Right wing for Devonte Jones. He resets the offense, 20 on the shot clock. Michigan trails by 1. Jones into Coburn. Somehow gets the shot off and cannot get it to fall through.
The lid is back on the rim. The toilet bowl sputtering out. Could have given Michigan the lead.
Frazier, a crafty dribble around Jace Howard, trying to ankle break. Frazier kicks Grandison all the way to Hawkins, and driving the lane now is Plummer. Inside the lane, Coburn, 2-hand stuff.
Not much you can do on that possession. Jones, a split second late, almost had the steal from the weak side.
3-point lead for Illinois. Here comes the sold-out crowd. 6:25 to go. Jones works on Plummer, gets a screen from Falls. Jones drives right hand, puts it up off the glass. The shot was good, but there's a foul on the floor. That would have been an and one for Devonte Jones. Nonetheless, there's a foul coming against Alfonso Plummer for the Illinois Illini.
I know they've gotten stingier with continuation over the years. To me, that's an N1. He got bumped as he was in the process of going up for a shot.
5 team fouls against the Fighting Illini. Inbound goes to Buffkin, who gives away to Jones. Buffkin at the right wing. He is a threat to shoot the 3. Buffkin drives, gives it away, and it's turned over. Going the other way is Frazier. Into Jones, off the front of the rim. Shot's no good. There's a foul on the floor. It looks like they'll get Devonte Jones, and I'm pretty sure Trent Frazier will make his way to the free throw line.
That's a play you cannot make on the other end if you're Kobe Buffkin. It's the case of a freshman in a big moment trying to do too much there.
And I'll tell you what, the roof would have exploded off this place if there would not have been a whistle, because I'll tell you what, Coleman Hawkins, he put that ball straight down on the offensive rebound. Trent Frazier, the lefty, to the line to shoot free throws. The first is straight pure. Musa Diabate with 4 fouls re-enters the game with 6 minutes to go, down 4.
I think Juwan Howard senses that this might be Michigan's shot. They were just down 1. Frazier can make this, they'll be down 5. It's another one of those junctures. They've got to keep fighting upwards, not backwards.
Frazier, an 83-point thrower on the season, gives Illinois a 5-point lead. Jones around a screen, works inside the lane, throws it up to Diabate, and the ball fell off the backboard, off Diabate's left shoulder, and out of bounds. That's a not great mental play by Devonte Jones who tried to throw an oop over Kofi Coburn. Diabate was nowhere close.
So that's back-to-back offensive possessions that have ended in careless turnovers for Michigan. They cannot get frazzled. They have to remain level-headed here. 5:45 to play.
5-point lead for Illinois with that time remaining. Still defending Coburn is Diabate. Corner kick-out, 3-point try for Grandison. It's in. Timeout, Michigan and Juwan Howard. It's all the way back to an 8-point lead.
Illinois all game has had open shots. Michigan has been willing to live with them because they have to double team Coburn. They all haven't fallen. They're only 4 of 17 from 3 if you include that one. That's a big one though.
It's a full timeout for Michigan, a 7-0 run for Illinois over the last minute. An 8-point lead. Michigan's got to get some shots to fall from outside, and they need them fast because the momentum has quickly turned on the pendulum back over to Illinois.
It was 45-44, 63 seconds ago. A 7-0 run has pushed Illinois back up 8 and has pushed Michigan again back to the brink.
Well, as you mentioned just a quick moment ago, back-to-back turnovers on the offensive end for Michigan. It seems like the pace of play needed to stay slow, and Michigan tried to turn it up because they thought momentum was in their favor. But little did they know the snake struck back, and Illinois retakes an 8-point lead after it was down to 1. Seems like a snap of the fingers just a few seconds ago.
If you're Juwan Howard in that huddle right now, you're telling your team to forget about what's transpired over the last 63 seconds. You're trying to tell them to refocus, drown out the noise that is about to hit them like a freight train when this timeout ends, and get back to what they had been doing. Don't force anything. Attack inside, push in transition, pester on defense. Those are your ingredients if you're going to come back in this game with time a ticking a little bit. 5.5 and change left to play.
Not a single person wearing navy blue and orange is sitting in the lower bowl of the State Farm Center. And as you mentioned, there's going to be a lot of noise that comes Michigan's way when they hit the court again to play on offense with 5:34 to go in this ball game and an 8-point lead for Illinois. 5 fouls apiece. Michigan has 2 timeouts remaining. This game, though, nowhere near over. Michigan just needs a couple of shots and a couple of defensive stops.
Michigan has been at this juncture down 8, down 9, down 10 multiple times in this game. Each time they have battled back. They've shown they can. They've shown that they can do it. Just got to do it once again.
Well, Illinois, they'll have Purdue coming up on Monday. That'll be at noon on Martin Luther King Day. Michigan, their next game will, fingers crossed, be at home on Tuesday against Maryland, who, of course, the last time that Michigan and Maryland played, they were a bit of extracurriculars, we'll say. However, the coach that Coach Howard got into it with, Mark Turgeon, is no longer the head man at Maryland. So a quick look forward to Tuesday. Michigan would love some momentum and avoid a 3-game losing streak going back home to Chrysler.
A basket is a must-have in this possession coming out of the timeout for certain.
It's been a wonderful atmosphere here in Champaign. The Illinois fans proving why this is a tough place to play. The University of Illinois, kitty corner to Memorial Stadium, where they play football on the athletic campus here in Champaign, Illinois.
Where it's Brooks, Buffkin, Williams, Diabate, and
Jones is hiding in the corner.
Hiding in the incognito man.
Well, here comes Buffkin. He's running the point. He wears number 2 for the Wolverines in the long sleeves. He's at the right wing, gets a nice screen from Williams. He now works on Coleman. And he kicks back out top of the key to Jones. Slow-moving offensive possession so far from Michigan. Jones drives with the right hand, puts it off the glass and in.
Exactly what the doctor ordered for Michigan. I think Jones
got
an elbow
base from Trent Frazier.
They've been going at it all night. Jones has held his own.
Frazier has 7 points. Jones has 15. He's the leading scorer for the Wolverines. Frazier drives left side, off Diabate and in.
Maestro there for Frazier. Jones and Diabate got twisted around.
Jones with the left hand, drives inside the paint, kicks back outside to Brooks. Brooks will work his way to the top of the point. He'll get a screen from Diabate momentarily. Brooks, the Diabate, squares up Kofi Coburn. Diabate on the floor, gets it back. Jones, three-point try. Kobe Buffkin straight away. It's no good. Rebound goes to Buffkin on the long way. Buffkin into Coburn, off the glass and through.
Oh, how about it from Kobe Buffkin? First, the wherewithal to follow his own shot. Second, going right at Kofi Coburn. The strength to power through.
The freshmen are fearless tonight for the Wolverines. As Frazier works on Jones, he gets a screen from Coburn. The roll doesn't work out for Illinois. Defended by Jones still. Hawkins kicks to the corner where Plummer stands. He kicks back outside Hawkins. Trent Frazier, a wide open three. It's in.
The ball movement from Illinois all half has been next level. Michigan running in circles on defense.
Back to a 9-point lead for Illinois. Under 4 to go here in the State Farm Center in Champaign. Jones with the left hand gives away to Brooks. To the left wing goes Jones. He drives inside. Diabate lost it. Turned over. It's Coleman Hawkins that took it away.
Just ripped it away.
Frazier slows the tempo down for Illinois at the logo. A crossover dribble, a screen from Grandison. Switched off to Buffkin. Here's a screen. Coburn. Frazier drives to the left hand, and that's 11 points. It's the biggest deficit of the day.
Illinois has finally figured it out. If Frazier drives on the pick and roll, Diabate cannot come over for help. He cannot go to block the shot or contest it because he has to loiter to hang with Coburn. It took them a long time in this game to find their bread and butter. They found it, and the lead is ballooned to 11 as a result. These are dire straits right now that the Wolverines are waiting in.
Michigan's got 3 minutes and 15 seconds to come up with some sort of remedy to get themselves back into this ball game. 59-48. And just again, we mentioned it a couple of minutes ago. A snap of the finger later, and Illinois' lead has ballooned straight back. And this is the biggest lead of the day for the Fighting Illini. It's 11, 59-48. Just a couple of seconds ago, it seems like Michigan down 6, and all of a sudden, Illinois back in front.
If you're Michigan, you want to come back, you're down 11, it's a daunting proposition. You're going to need the 3-ball. It's been a non-factor tonight, just 1 of 10 from deep. Those 9 misses, not all contested. A lot of them good open looks. Buffkin's had one, Houston's had one, Jones had one that I can remember. We've got to make them if they're going to come back down 11, 3:15 to play.
We look to the typical 3-point shooters that Michigan has on the floor, and you see Eli Brooks is 0 for 1, and he's had a couple of other opportunities that just weren't in sync. We know him to be a great catch-and-shoot guy. However, Eli Brooks has passed up a couple of wide-open opportunities to give the ball elsewhere, and sometimes it results in an easy bucket for Michigan. We've seen them grab a couple of those. Nonetheless, you'd expect Eli Brooks to take a couple more of those shots. An 11-point lead for Illinois. 3:15 to go. Trent Frazier, Grandison, Plummer, Coburn, and Hawkins on the floor. Coburn has 21 points, 8 rebounds, 2 boards away from yet another double-double for the junior from Kingston, Jamaica. A couple players from outside of the U.S. on this Fighting Illini team. A couple of names coming from Puerto Rico, including Alfonso Plummer. Benjamin Bosmans Verdonk is from Lommel, Belgium. Another player, RJ Melendez, from Puerto Rico. So Brad Underwood likes to go outside the state of Illinois and even outside of the country to bring talent to Champaign. And it's obviously exceeded the expectations in the last couple of years for Illinois.
And it's a team right now that is surging. They've got a 5-game winning streak, as we mentioned earlier, looking to push that to 6. And on the flip side, Michigan on the complete opposite end of that spectrum. A 2-game losing streak might be tumbling towards 3. They can't complete a comeback tonight. They're going to have to right the ship Tuesday against Maryland, hopefully with a full roster in fold.
And since dropping back-to-back games away from home against Marquette and Cincinnati, the Fighting Illini have won 10 of 11 games, and the last few have been without Andre Curbelo. They're currently tied in first in the Big Ten with Michigan State. And the only similarity that the two teams had in out-of-conference play was Arizona. Both teams fell to the Wildcats at different points in their season.
Interesting to see the 5 the Wolverines are rolling with here with the game on the line. It's Jaron Folds, the man in the middle. Jones and Brooks, the normal starting backcourt. Caleb Houston re-enters, and then Terrence Williams, who drew his first career start tonight, is out there as well. It is so loud I can hardly hear myself speak.
Works at the right wing, trying to get around Frazier. He drives baseline, kick to the corner. Houston for three. There's a foul. So this could potentially be only the second three-pointer for the Wolverines on the day. So Houston will go to the free throw line.
The disappearing act of Caleb Houston's three-point stroke has been a huge problem for Michigan all season. And if the Wolverines are ultimately going to turn it around, they are going to need that to remedy itself.
Houston from the free throw line, a couple of spins, puts it up with the right hand, and it toilet bowls in and out. What is with these rims here tonight, it seems like?
And so it goes for Caleb Houston again on a night when Michigan needed scoring, needed perimeter shooting. The freshman just can't provide it. 2 points, 1 of 7 from the field, 0 of 4 from deep, and now 0 of 2 from the line. If this isn't indicative of the way Houston's season has gone, this is the perfect summation of what has happened this year for Caleb Houston.
And here's the third of his free throws. He gets one to fall. 1 of 3 from the line when Michigan needed him the most. 3:05 to go. The lead is 10 for Illinois.
1 of 3 when Michigan, frankly, needed all 3.
Working the baseline is Grandison. Gets the inbound to Plummer, who stops his dribble, almost turns the ball over, and Frazier will work across midcourt. Illinois working very slowly. Grandison, who has 2 massive three-pointers on the day, gives to the top of the key towards the half-court line for Frazier. Coburn gives him a screen. Falls works very nicely at the half-court line, and there's a foul all the way from the other side of the floor, and Juwan Howard is not liking that.
I think what he's more upset with is he thinks that Frazier stepped on the timeline and it should have been a backcourt. Jace Howard and Sadie Washington both popped out of their chairs as well.
Juwan Howard is absolutely working the referees. Demante Williams gets an inbound to Coburn. He works against Falds. He jab stepped but gave it back to the half-court line for Frazier. 12 on the timer. Between the legs dribble against Brooks. Gets a screen from Coburn. He drives with the right hand. Frazier into Terrence Williams. And that's a shooting foul. And Terrence Williams is unhappy because he was in good position to take a charge.
He went into that a little half-heartedly.
He kind of stumbled rather than fell straight back. 2:31 to go. Fighting Illini by 10. Frazier to go to the strike. 2 for 2 today. Shoots 82.8% on the season. The lefty, a couple of left-handed dribbles, a quick bend of the knees, firing good. It's a nice stroke from number 1. The 6'2" senior from Wellington, Florida. 29 points last Tuesday against Nebraska, 15 points here tonight. Helping out the Fighting Illini to perhaps a home win here in the State Farm Center. 2:31 to go. The lead is now 12. This is the largest of the game for the Fighting Illini. Demante Williams out. Coleman Hawkins in for Illinois. Jones, quick up the floor to Houston. Back to Jones. Jones around a screen. He weaves his way into the paint. Jones at the top of the key now after a pass from Brooks. Jones, a left-handed dribble. Weaves his way back through the lane. Puts it up with the right hand and gets it to rattle through.
Devonte Jones for
17 points.
the majority of this night has looked very controlled on offense. That's a good sign moving forward.
Plummer splits a couple of defenders. Gives it to Hawkins, who stands at the left elbow. Frazier controls at the midcourt line. Michigan's got a ways to go. They trail by 10. Frazier drives inside the lane. There's a foul. It'll go against Devonte Jones. And Trent Frazier went up to slam that one through. Michigan fell asleep on defense.
Trent Frazier came barreling through the lane after Jones got beat, and Caleb Houston was not looking at the ball. He was looking left, standing on the left side of the lane, looking towards the corner. Frazier came slicing through. There was no help. Houston couldn't even get over there to commit a foul. Jones had to do it from behind.
First free throw from Frazier. That's a pure stroke from number 1. And with Coburn standing all the way back inside the Michigan paint, Illinois looks poised to take a victory away from the Wolverines here in Champaign. Frazier's second is through. Back to a 12-point spread. Demante Williams in. Out goes Grandison, who has a relatively quiet day, but yet two of the biggest shots of the game. Two different three-pointers in big-time spots. Houston for the Wolverines, back to Jones at the left wing. Around a screen from Falls, it's a nice screen. Jones trying to get the same shot as the last possession. Brooks at the right wing now after the kick out from Jones. He works around Frazier. Brooks with the right hand can't get the shot to go. No rim. Rebound goes to Coburn. 9 boards on the day for number 21. He's looking for his double-double. 1:30 to go, and Illinois working slowly. They're going to milk this shot clock all the way down as a double team quickly comes to Frazier. Outside kick. Williams for 3. Buries it.
And there
That's the dagger.
is your dagger.
Jones, a quick drive, puts it up with the left hand. It's blocked. Jaron Fald with the rebound, and it's called a jump ball.
Dagger, exclamation point.
Michigan, who is down 2 of their best players tonight, Dickinson and Johns Jr., they're going to go on a 3-game losing streak.
And there are a lot of positives for Michigan to take away. They hadn't played a game in 10 days. They hadn't been able to conduct even a normal practice because they didn't have 10 healthy bodies. They were forced to play players who had hardly played any minutes in their Michigan careers. They were forced to mishmash together different lineups and combinations that players are not accustomed to. And there were a lot of good results. They're at the point of the season, however, where there aren't any moral victories. This one will sting just like all the others, and it'll sting more so if they can't take the positives and use them as a launching pad. We'll see Tuesday against Maryland, hopefully, what will happen. If Michigan can get Dickinson back, if Michigan can get Johns back, and if Michigan can play like it did for most of this game. Ultimately, though, it just came down to Michigan being undermanned, not having the requisite talent to play with Illinois. When they're at full strength, and if they play like this, it's a different story. So we'll see where this team goes moving forward. They're not directionless. There's not an absence of hope. But the time is ticking.
And a bit cocky, to say the least, as on the big screen there is a cardboard cutout, we'll say, of Kofi Coburn holding a baby-like figure of Hunter Dickinson, who didn't play in tonight's game.
I appreciate the creativity. I like it. You know,
I'm sure they'll see a lot of the same when they come to Ann Arbor. Frazier from the midcourt line, defended by Collins. Crafty dribbles, 10 on the shot clock. Frazier, a deep three-point try off the front of the rim. Houston with the rebound.
A tremendous NIT chant echoing throughout State Farm Center on that possession.
Collins working against Frazier as Frazier claps right in the face of the young freshman. A nice baseline feed to Houston, and the reverse shot goes.
Good cut from Houston. Certainly need more of that out of the freshman. The three-pointer's not falling for him. He's got to find other ways to get involved in the offense.
Kobe Buffkin quickly fouls Alfonso Plummer, and Buffkin looked as if he didn't mean to foul him. You never want to talk down on the class of a fan base. However, Illinois a bit disgruntled after the decision to give Michigan the Big Ten regular season championship last year, after Illinois believed they deserved the shot they didn't get due to Michigan not playing a couple of games due to COVID. And checking out of the game for the final time tonight is Kofi Coburn. From the free throw line is Alfonso Plummer. Statistically, one of the best free throw shooters in the country. Around 98% from the line. The lead is 67-53 Illinois.
I think we found a guy who's invincible to the announcer's jinx. And Alfonso Plummer.
The second one falls just as easily as the first. And a couple of the backup depth chart guys getting in. Brandon Podziemski into the game for the Fighting Illini with 25 ticks to go. Buffkin across the timeline. Nice dribble. Works towards the left post. Buffkin will now back it back out. A nice pullback. Jay, it doesn't fall. Offensive rebound goes to Houston, trying to stat pad. His shot's no good. And the ball continues to rattle around the jumble underneath the basket. And there will be a jump ball. As the recent check-in, Podziemski rips the ball away from Terrence Williams well after the whistle. R.J. Melendez will now come into the game to spell Alfonso Plummer. 7:06 to go. 68-53 is the Illinois lead. Now it's just a matter of the final score. The inbound pass from Frankie Collins goes to Jaron Falds, tipped away to Buffkin, and the ball rattles around. Podziemski, he wanted a bucket, and Brad Underwood says, "Sir, no sir." And that'll be the final score. 68-53 is the final here in Champaign. If not a valiant effort by the Wolverines, a 15-point loss, and dare I say, a must win Tuesday in the Chrysler Center against Maryland as the Orange Crush wave goodbye to the maize and blue on the near sideline.
A lot of positives for Michigan to take away from this one. There are no moral victories, though, as I said. The question will be, can Michigan build off those positives and put together a stretch through games? Can they do that? Because even when they've had good games, they've been in individual spurts, much like everyone's individual performances. Continuity has been lacking across games. We'll see if they could take any of these positives, the way they came out, the tenacity they played with, the aggression that defined their play style, slicing through the paint, strong play from Devonte Jones. Can they parlay that into something more and finally get off their ground and get this train back on the right track? We'll see Tuesday.
Let's go through the stat sheet real quick. Illinois, with this 15-point win, they only got 3 points from the bench. You'd say that's a 15-point win. They scored 68 total points. Only 3 points came from the bench, but 30 points in the paint. That's a big difference. And Illinois got 18 points from Frazier, 15 from Plummer, 21 points from Kofi Coburn, just under his season average of 22, and he got his double-double. He had 10 rebounds, but a team effort, dare I say, for Illinois, and it was a great effort for them, a great effort from their sixth man as well. It was an intimidating environment all night here in the State Farm Center.
More friendlier confines will come Tuesday in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Maryland. Wolverines will have a few days off to digest this, hopefully get healthy. We'll see what they can bring then. WCBN Sports will be back on the call for that, so you know where to find us on our YouTube channel for all Michigan basketball games.
Michigan, much like last season's attempt against Illinois, where they dropped 76-53 on March 2nd, it was a little more of the same. Michigan was held under 10 points for every single one of their players except for one. That was Eli Brooks, who had 11. Today it was again the point guard, but it was Devonte Jones this time, who had 17, who shot 7 of 16, 1 of 2 from deep, and he grabbed 6 boards. So if Devonte Jones can continue this kind of production for the Wolverines moving forward in the season, that should get some extra guys open, including the big center they hope to get back on Tuesday, Hunter Dickinson. Well, with that, we're going to wrap it up here from Champaign. My name is Zach Linfield. To the left of me is Jared Greenspan. 68-53 was the Illinois victory, and Michigan will be back on Tuesday against Maryland. Good night, everybody, and go blue.
Yeah.